Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to the race watch along for the 2025 Mexico City Grand Prix. How are we all doing this? Well, it's evening, still evening in the UK, morning or afternoon where you are. Hope you're having a good one, a good weekend. It is Sunday. Sorry. Hang on a second, actually, maybe not. One sec. For some of you, it's Monday, but for the majority, I imagine it is Sunday, and yeah, that's it then. So. It could be worse. It could be Monday, but I hope you're well. Sorry I'm a little bit late, by the way. I forgot to change the stream key over like an absolute moron. So if you got a notification for the other channel, I apologise. That was totally unintentional. The race watch-alongs are here for now. So yes, that was my mistake. There's a lot's happened in the last month, and I'm struggling to keep up. But I will get there. Sky looking at tape says fun. I'll do some shout-outs in chat in just a second. But just a reminder right from the off, of course, if you did miss qualifying yesterday or you're wondering where the qualify watch along was, there is a new home for that. I had a couple of messages yesterday asking why I didn't stream. So I did stream over on the new channel, Formula Sean. Link pinned in the chat if you want to join me over there. Looking at chat, I think most of you are over there, but there might be some of you just tuning in who aren't. So please go check out the channel, and thank you for your support over there. And thank you for your continued support over here on the F1 Word as well. I know Marta in chat, who's having a Greg steak bake for tea, by the way. Very jealous, isn't best pleased by what's happened, but don't worry, Marta. I appreciate your support and thank you for having my back. There we go. You always have. If I could do the same for you at any point, I will. Big shout out to Dave in chat. Hey Dave. Hey to Warden of Souls. It's interesting. Someone mentioned it yesterday very quickly. It's the ats over here rather than your name, whereas on the other channel it was your name. So I'm gonna have to try and guess who you all are now. Pascal, no idea. Some sort of Sauber fan says good evening, Sean in chat. How is everyone? Let's hope for a cracking race. Hey mate, hope you're well. Hey to Marta again. Hey to Fud, to the Haprust as well. Hey to, I think that's Max looking at the avatar there. Hey to Lee, to Tim as well. Hello to Gustav, to there was one other I saw pop up and it's now disappeared. Maybe deleted their message, but yeah, I hope you're all having a Dave says still a fish. Yeah, there we go. Hey to Sticklebrick as well. Good to see you all. Hope you're having a good one and ready for this one. It should be a good run down to turn one. We'll run through the grid quickly and I'll see if I've missed anyone in chat that wants to shout out shortly. Corner Wookie there, which I'm gonna say is Kieran. You'll tell me if it's not. So yesterday, Lando Norris took a very important pole position. More important, I think he realised at the time, with Charles Leclerc P2 and Lewis Hamilton P3. That run down to turn one is going to be cracking. As we said yesterday in the qualifying stream, over in t'other place. You don't necessarily want to be on pole in Mexico. That's going to be fun. Who's going to be leading at turn one? We'll have some predictions in a bit. George Russell P4, Max Verstappen only P5. So big chance for Lando Norris here to maybe knock Max out of the running. Let's see. Kimi Antonelli in P6. Oscar Piastri only P7. Does move at one place because of Carlos Sainz's penalty. Isack Hadjar P8. Ollie Bearman P9 and Yuki Tsunoda inside the top 10. Then you've got Esteban Ocon on what used to be midfield pole, of course. Carlos Sainz took his 5-place grid drop for his collision with Antonelli at Kota for this race. He drops to 12th from 8th, wasn't he, yesterday? Nico Hulkenberg 13th, Fernando Alonso 14th, Liam Lawson 15th, Gabriel Bortoletto 16th, Alex Albon 17th, Pierre Gasly 18th, it's 19th for Lance Stroll, and 20th and last for Franco Colapinto. Now, strategy could be very important today. Here we go again. So, as you may know, Pirelli have been trying all season to spice up strategy. In the last 2 weekends, we've skipped a compound to try and give us lots of options. Because the last thing we want, right, is another boring one-stopper. Because whatever, you know, let's have some strategy variation. So they've given us 5 strategies for today. 5 strategies, and 4 of them are one-stoppers. It's just a waste of time at this point. Just in future, Pirelli don't even bother trying to mix it up. Just leave it alone because it ends up the same anyway. So it doesn't really matter what tyre you start on, medium, soft. You probably don't want to start on the hard, but you could start on the hard and then you can finish on any tyre you want as well. If you start on the medium, you'd be looking at going to lap 42 to 48 and then putting the softs on. Start on the medium. If you want to put the hard on after that, you go to 26 to 32. You could run soft medium, so the opposite of the first one. You could run soft hard if you wanted to, pitting on lap 20 to 26 and putting the hards on at the end. Or if you want to really get, you know, things exciting, you could try strategy 5, which is soft, medium, soft with 2 sort of short stints either side of it. So yeah, The only thing predictable about this season is the fact that we're going to get one stoppers pretty much every race. So they're just doing the national anthem by the look of it. Couple of stats you might want to know going into this one. Really, one major stat is the green flag racing versus safety car. So under normal racing conditions, you lose about 21.9, let's say 22 seconds in the pit lane. If it's under the safety car, virtual safety car, it's getting on for half that. It's 12 seconds. So if we get a safety car, we might see the strategy mix up a bit, but we'll see. And in terms of race pace, McLaren were the quickest on Friday. Red Bull about a tenth off. Mercedes 3/10 off. And actually Ferrari were 3.5 tenths off on race pace. So if they do get in front of Norris on the run to turn one, can probably fully expect that he'll breeze past fairly quickly. Although, like I said yesterday in the other stream, we say that, but we've seen a few times this season, Lando doesn't always get those moves done, does he? So let's see what happens, but you can overtake here. It's a bit tougher because of the altitude. So obviously the DRS is less effective, so it might be tougher for him. Let's see what happens. Let's do some more shout outs in chat, shall we? Hey to Adrian. So I don't know how I read that wrong. It clearly says Adrian, but I don't know what I was thinking. But thank you very much, Adrian. Hope you well, mate. Thanks for joining us. Hey to Tommy. Hey to Ash as well. Hope you well, mate. Hey to Fabian. Yes. Oh, you're a star. I love it when you turn up because I always forget. We all forget. We want last lap, don't we? Not best lap. I'll do that right now, mate, as soon as you reminded me. But thank you for that. And thank you for joining us again for this waffle along, rather than watch along. Let's call it a waffle along. That's kind of what it is, isn't it? So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think there is a good point to be made here, actually, to be fair. I say I'm sort of blowing my trumpet there a bit. It's a really great point I'm making, trust me. Degradation has and can be quite high around here. So, graining tends to be the biggest issue. So we might see drivers dropping off. They're just doing some analysis at the start that I was talking about the other day, where Max goes around the outside of turn one on the two Mercedes. But I feel like these are more borderline one stoppers. It's kind of the short way round of the long point I was going to make is that I think these are sort of borderline strategies. So maybe not so much the medium to hard. In fact, do you know what? The hard, which Pirelli described earlier in the week as super conservative, probably could do the whole race on its own. But if you want to run the medium and the soft, you may have to do some time management, so it might be borderline, which again doesn't always result in the best racing, does it? But just because they've got those four strategies there as one stoppers doesn't mean it will be a one stopper, but that's what they're saying the most likely. So Tommy in chat says it's a fine line to bring all these different tyres with variable degradations. Not many cut tyres these days. Marta, we'll do predictions in a bit, but says predictions for the race. A Ferrari crashed into McLaren like it's 1998. There you go. We may see Stroll running hard, or an Albon says fudge. Yeah, that's true. Risk of rain for this race, by the way, is 0% with 25.6 degrees air temperature, 52.8 track. So, yeah, it's going to be warm, isn't it? So, let's see. I'm hoping for two stops. Safety cars could change everything. Because if you're sort of borderline one stopper and you get a safety car and you can get a set of tyres to the end from there or something like that, it might be worth a punt. If you are, let's say Max Verstappen is still P5 and he's 5 seconds behind Russell and 15 seconds up the road from Antonelli, let's say it all stays the same, he could pop a set of softs on or something to the end, or some mediums who gets a chance late on. So there's possibilities there. I'm not sure what tyres they've all got left. I don't know if they've got this on the list of stuff that they usually give us. They have not today. Pirelli seem a bit more reluctant these days, or in this sort of second half of the season, to actually give too much information away. They used to put out some really handy graphics, but they don't do it anymore. And I don't know if that's because they're... I don't know. They don't want us criticising them, or I don't know. Are they that thin-skinned? But Astro says that, man, I'm so used to auto captions. I'm watching in a pub, so no commentary. I just have to follow along with the chat. No problem, mate. I hope you're well. Ayinka's here as well. Hey, Ayinka. Yes. I did. I probably shouldn't be talking too much about the other channel over here, but you know, I'm running both of them, so I will. But just to let you know as well, and I expect a response in chat. So yesterday's peak concurrent viewers on the other channel for the first ever stream, I'm so happy, was 69. There you go. I mean, you just, yeah, I love you guys. I feel like you deliberately did that, so that's fine. Just to let you know, nice and all that. There you go. Sighted Canvas says, can Max get the win for P5? Would be a hell of an effort if he gets it right. I'm not expecting it. Today. Max is not happy with his race pace. Like I say, they're off as well from McLaren. They are, I think it's the second fastest on this graphic, so 10th down. I think that's per lap, isn't it? So, going to be tough, but I'll use the catchphrase again. It's becoming a catchphrase. If anyone can, Max can. So, yeah. Let's see. Could be an interesting race. I'm looking forward to it very much. Particularly that run down to turn one. I was a little bit late starting, like I say, so because I'm an idiot. So please do bear in mind we're very close to start of the race. We're only 10 minutes away. So if you've got any questions, throw them in chat. Anything about the race. We'll do some predictions in a few as well, and then we'll go from there. So yeah. Just 1 second. I think I did change that setting, didn't I? I'm not streaming in two places. I've just got this horrible paranoia that I'm streaming in two places. No, I'm not. That's okay. That awkward moment, I was like, oh no, what have I done? But it's not. It's okay. All's good. I got a notification, that's all. So, but we're okay. So yeah, questions. We'll do predictions shortly. I'll get you top threes, but we'll just get some questions out of the way first because I wasn't here yesterday. So what's the other channel called? It's called Formula Sean 2 Left Feet, and there's a link pinned at the top of the chat. So and there is one in the description as well. If you want to go sub over there, that'd be massively appreciated. We're nearly at 400 subs, which I know isn't a huge number, but baby steps. We'll get there. We've got to start somewhere. Very much looking forward to testing streams. That should really help that channel out massively. So, but yeah, there's links all over the place to it. And actually, to be fair, it seems a bit silly, but there are also links on the other channel for people that want to come here in case we pick anybody up over there who's not part of the F1 word. So we're working together. It's like its little brother. It's aggravating. My little brother was aggravating. He's now 6'5". So, I just behave myself around him now. Looking at some stats, everyone has fresh mediums and hards, says Fud. Only Hamilton, Russell, Verstappen, Antonelli, Sainz, Piastri, Hadjar, Bearman don't have fresh softs. Keep hold of that list, mate. That could come in handy later in the race with chatting strategy if it inevitably drops off a little bit. Yinka says Leclerc win today. Looking at the race pace on Friday, no. But there have been some Fridays where Ferrari's race pace hasn't been spectacular and they've done well, and then other Fridays where they've had decent race pace and they've been terrible. So I sort of find with Ferrari, if you just flip a coin, that's the way it'll go. I'd love to see it, but I'm just not. It's that race pace, like I say, on Friday wasn't great, and they're not massively confident. But the run down to turn one is going to be critical. So first prediction, I want you to throw into chat then. Norris, Leclerc, Hamilton, Russell, Verstappen, whoever you want. Who's going to be leading by turn one in Mexico? That long drag. I'm going to go Lewis Hamilton. I'm going to fancy him to try a Max Verstappen around the outside. What I kind of wouldn't mind is a bit of drama early on and maybe the top 7 get taken out. And then we've got Hadjar, Bearman, Tsunoda and co going for the win. Top 7 would be, pushing the limits a bit. But, yeah, let's have a spicy race. We get a surprise result. Although we've got Brazil in 2 weeks. So, yeah. I'm going to say I don't think Hamilton or Leclerc will win today. I think Norris's race pace, if he can get the moves done, is too great. And even if he can't get the moves done, they can undercut or overcut around the stops, can't they? So, I think he's favourite today comfortably with, Russell, well, particularly Verstappen and Piastri out of the running at the moment. Let's see what they do at the start. But, yeah, I think we'll have a Ferrari leading by turn 1, but I'm going to go Hamilton. Why not? Yes, green background RC, because the F1 word channel colours are green. So I'm trying to colour coordinate the shells behind me. But I preferred the red. It looked more threatening. Actually looked more cosy, I think. And a bit warmer. And it is cold. It's about 7 degrees at the minute. It's really cold. And I love it when it's really cold. So I'm happy. And I'm still in shorts, by the way. Really? 7 degrees. Anyway, Warden says Russell. Pascal's going with Hamilton. Dave says Leclerc. Martin says Verstappen. That'd be incredible. A Street says Lando going to be solid. Colapinto says 2 left feet. That'd be a hell of a first corner, wouldn't it? Yinka thinks Norris will lead. Surprising Hamilton out of nowhere, says Sighted Canvas. And Lando, I think, says Astro. So other predictions then. You can do them now. Your top 3. What's the top 3 going to be? Your podium places. I'm going to go Norris. What did I say yesterday? Norris, Verstappen, and let's go with, let's say Leclerc, but I wouldn't mind Hamilton getting his first proper Ferrari podium. That'd be cool. So, yeah. Northern at heart, Sticklebrick. That's why. Into North at heart, even though I'm technically East Midlands, but my family's very northern, so that'll be why. Yeah, I'll start reading your predictions out then. Must be a Geordie. Yeah, you're lucky you've got if I was a Geordie, I wouldn't have a shirt on, so, you know, small mercies and all that. Sorry, just the images I paint sometimes are just absolutely vile, aren't they? Anyway, let's see what you say. So, 7th Street Basis, hey again, mate. He says Verstappen will just stick his nose in turn one and someone else will blink first. He can kind of do that, though, can't he? He's got nothing, well, not nothing to lose, but less to lose than Norris and Piastri. So, definitely go there. Fudd says Hamilton, Leclerc and Norris. Adrian says a Norris and Leclerc collision. Hamilton to win with Verstappen and Piastri second and third. Oh, that would spice things up in the championship, wouldn't it? Massively. RC says Max, Norris and Leclerc. Yinka's predicting a boring race. Says Norris, Leclerc and Hamilton, but then says also a boring race will be perfect. It'd be perfect for the championship, wouldn't it? I want it as close as possible between as many drivers as possible by Abu Dhabi. It's probably going to be the two McLarens, but never write Max Verstappen off. Norris, Leclerc, Piastri says a street. Sorry, I've lost chat. There we go. Tommy says Norris, Leclerc, Verstappen. How long till the race is, Gustav? Not long, about 4 minutes, mate. We're nearly there. Sighted canvas, Verstappen, Norris, Leclerc. Golf ball says Gasly, Sainz, Ocon. Gustav's gone with Piastri, Max, and Lando, and it's Norris, Verstappen, and Russell for Michael. Hey, Michael, hope you well, mate. I hope it's not a boring race, but yeah. Should we have a look for the tyres? They've just popped up. An interesting selection. We've got the mariachi music back. So Lando Norris is going with a fresh set of softs, as is Charles Leclerc. So they could be looking at anything from a soft medium, a soft hard, to a soft medium soft. So plenty of options out there. Used softs for Hamilton and Russell, both done 3 laps on those. So that's interesting. Verstappen starting on the medium, so he's thinking a little bit more long term, but early safety car might ruin that for him. Antonelli and Piastri both on the used softs. Hadjar on a fresh set of mediums. Bearman on used softs. Tsunoda on mediums. Fresh softs for Ocon. Fresh mediums for Sainz. And then it's fresh softs for Hulkenberg, Alonso and Lawson. Bortoletto on the mediums. Albon is going for the hard tyre. Gasly on the mediums. Stroll on the softs and Colapinto on the hards. The reason I sort of drew breath there is because I think the hard tyre is not particularly great, but it's bloody durable. So if you're Colapinto, what else are you going to do from back there? Let's get this. I'm hoping I haven't messed this up. I got a bit. Yeah, I did mess it up a bit, but let's just tidy this up. But yeah, as always, no track footage for obvious copyright reasons. I can't do it. I don't own the rights. But we have got lifetime provided by the amazing folks over at Multiview for F1. So thank you very much to those guys for allowing me to use them on this channel and on the other channel as well. Really appreciate their support on that. So thank you very much. Make sure you follow the link in the description if you want to get Multiview for yourself. It's a fantastic app. It is free, but you will need some sort of F1 TV subscription. F1 TV access is fine, and you can customize your streams with as much or as little data as you'd like, and the more the merrier as far as I'm concerned. So yes, exactly. Showing track footage is against the law, son. Yes, we'll save the dad jokes for elsewhere. Hey Red Raven, hope you well, mate. Good to see you too. Josh, hope you well. AM9 as well. Anybody else popped in that's new? Not like I see there. If I've missed you, I do apologise, but I hope you're all having a corking Sunday and ready for a cracking race or something really boring. But a lot more softs out there early on than I thought. Maybe some preempting an early safety car. I just said to Karun now, he was saying that Verstappen didn't like the mediums, so maybe he's put those on to get them out of the way. But you want to get in some positions off the line, don't you? Maybe you're going to rely on that drag down to turn 1, but Marta's about a minute in the past, so see you in the past. About a minute behind, so see you in the past. Yeah, I'll try not to spoil anything. I can't promise. Hey, Needles or Neelish, hope you well. Yeah, like I say, we've got the handles back over here, but on the other channel it was named, so I don't know. I guess because this is 100,000 subscribers, it's trialing stuff out, so that's fair enough. Why is pole not the best? It's because it's a long run down to turn 1. So if you are P2, P3, you can tuck in and get a really lovely toe off those ahead, which means that because there is such a long run, you've got a great chance to get you alongside. So it's a bit like... it's not like Monza at all, is it? Monza got a long straight, but it's not a particularly long run to turn one. But this is a long one. Yeah, so it's to do with that drag down to turn one. I mentioned it before, Max Verstappen a few years ago, straight round the outside from P3 on the grid on both Mercedes. So... just because you are P1 on the grid doesn't mean you'll be P1 come turn one. Let's see though. It might do. So yeah, no DRS, but you've still got the drag down to the toe will be huge down to turn one. We'll see in like 2 minutes time, and you'll get an idea of what I mean. It won't necessarily be at the front. There might be some stuff behind, but yeah, exactly. You've got to cover the inside, but carry enough speed for the pole man. But you've got to, I don't know. Sorry. Apparently Verstappen scored as many points as McLaren in the last few races, so there you go. But yeah, it's difficult for the pole man because he's got to, as Tommy said, got to cover the inside, but he can't go too far to the inside because that compromises him on exit. So he's got to cover the middle, but he also can't let someone round his outside. So it's a very tactical run down there. It's going to be really interesting. But yeah, you DRS is from the end of lap 1, of course, but DRS is less effective here. So. The race said that McLaren is running the most optimal cooling package, says Neelish. There is a bit more to come, I think. But yeah, Russell's got a great spot for the toe. I think Hamilton and Russell are in a good position here. But also, just to remind, everything seems to be working okay. But last week we had some issues, didn't we, with the timing? If it does go down, in Mexico they've been having all sorts of problems this weekend. Actually, F1 proper have been having problems. If it goes down, there's nothing I can do about it, so we'll have to muddle through again. But we managed last week, didn't we? So optimal cooling package might mean less cooling. Me and Norris can't stay in dirty air for long, says Neelesh. Yeah, that's a good point. It is hot as well, like I say. I mean, too hot for me, but... hey, Nick. How you are, mate? This could be good. They're lining up on the grid then. Here comes Lando Norris to take his spot on the grid. He's going to be joined, of course, by Charles Leclerc on the front row. We've then got Lewis Hamilton slotting into P3. George Russell into P4, followed by Max Verstappen. Kimi Antonelli will take P6, and then it's 7th for Oscar Piastri. This is a nice view, actually, watching them sort of slide into their grid spots. 8th place, Isack Hadjar, 1 place promotion, of course, after Sainz's penalty. 9th for Bearman. Yuki Tsunoda will be next up to pull into his slot in 10th. And then we've got Esteban Ocon in 11th and Carlos Sainz 12th. Nico Hulkenberg is next up in 13th. Then Alonso in P14. Liam Lawson P15. Bortoletto into his slot in 16th. Then it's Albon in 17th. 18th for Lance Stroll. 19th, of course. Sorry, 18th for Gasly. 19th for Lance Stroll. And Franco Colapinto 20th. I'll count down the lights so you can sync up if you need to. Here we go. 1 light, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. It's lights out and away we go in Mexico. I think Leclerc's got a decent start, actually, but Norris doing well as well off the line. Here comes the toe then, to keep an eye on this. The run down there, and I think Hamilton's really threatening Leclerc here. I don't think the Ferraris are working together, and they're close to contact. Hamilton's got the run on Lando Norris. Is he going to... Oh, Verstappen's driving outside of 4, and that's going to go wrong, and Verstappen is off the track at turn 1, cuts the grass, and Norris just about keeps the lead, but the look like... Oh, it's Leclerc in the lead, sorry. We've got Antonelli off track. We've got Hadjar off track. There's chaos out there. Verstappen trying it around the outside of 4 cars. That was never going to happen, and Norris passes Leclerc again. Did Leclerc pass him off the track? Is that what that was? And there goes Verstappen having a look at Lewis Hamilton into turn 6. Sorry, there is contact between Verstappen and Hamilton, both still going. We've got Russell. I don't know what's going on there. This case, we've got a spinner at the back there. I think it's Alex Albon and Lance Stroll. Oh, goodness me. Norris, somehow, I'm assuming, yeah, whoa, Max, steady on. I can only assume that what's happened there is that Leclerc has taken a position off track. I was typically watching Verstappen, and he's had to give the place back. So we are as we were, but Norris already 1.3 seconds up the road. What a start. Verstappen is up a place somehow, but did he gain that before or after turn 1? That's the key. He definitely had contact with Hamilton. I thought Hamilton had a tiny bit of front wing end fence touching Norris into turn 2 or 3. But it doesn't look like there's any issues there. It just looked very close, is all. I thought the McLaren was smoking it. It was just bottoming out down the straight. But this is where it might get a bit flat, because this is where everything's going to start to space out now. We kind of, no disrespect to Norris, but we kind of needed. Verstappen just cut the corner, brake late and cut the grass. I need at least the position or give the position back. Is what... I guess cede the position is what he meant there. But Verstappen really threatening here. We need to see a replay at start, because all I could see was this Red Bull steaming down the outside of everybody else, all locked up. So I don't know who he gained on, who he did. I felt as though Verstappen was past Russell to be able to get alongside the two Ferraris and the McLaren like that. He'd need to be past Russell before turn one, wouldn't he? Lap 1, turn 1 incident noted. Even race control don't know what the flip that was. That was absolutely bonkers. We love F1. Norris 1.7 clear. Alonso passes Liam Lawson, by the way. Ignore the smoke on the straights. Everyone's bottoming out down there. It looked like McLaren. The McLaren was blowing up, but it wasn't. Leclerc 123.1, 5,000 quicker than Lando Norris. So all good at the moment, but Verstappen's still right behind Lewis Hamilton, 0.6 of a second. But now we've got this DRS train on a track where DRS isn't that effective, and in comes Liam Lawson. Was the contact somewhere for Lawson, or is he just going to get rid of those tyres early? I mean, he was on the softs, wasn't he? So it's a front wing change for Lawson, and it is only just coming off. This is a slow stop, but I mean, he's P20 and last anyway. So yes. Leclerc just closing in on Norris, 0.3 in that first sector. We've got a yellow flag out there for some reason. I need to make sure I press the right buttons here. It's down at turn 1, 2, and 3. In fact, that's going to be double wave yellow. So I'm guessing there's some marshals out there as Lawson comes down the straight. So I hope they get out of the way quickly. Picking up some debris, I imagine. Oh, that was a interesting turn 1 to 6, wasn't it? On the first lap, but Norris still has the lead. It's ridiculous. The guys can cut the grass and keep position. No penalty, no nothing, says Russell. So Russell's whining. We need to see a replay of that before I start saying any more. But in my head, my weird logic, in order for Max Verstappen to have been alongside the Ferraris and the McLaren like he was, he'd need to have been past Russell before turn 1 anyway. So you might argue he's going in hot, but here goes Piastri having a look at Tsunoda. But Piastri in ninth place, by the way. Missed that in all the chaos at the start. RC says Russell needs to stop behaving like a child. They all do it though, mate, don't they? It drives you mad. The older I get, the more annoying it is, I'll tell you that. It's like, oh, he's passed me. They banged wheels. Why? You know, shut up and get on with it. It's kind of my attitude, but I haven't seen a replay yet. Max Verstappen may have shoved him in the wall and overtaken 3 on the grass and, you know, got out and punched somebody for all I know. That would have been an interesting start. I don't know, Dex, where Formula Sean is. I've not heard from him today. I know he's still got his other channel. That was a fun stream yesterday. I will say it was a lot of fun. I was going to say let my hair down, but I feel like that's just opening myself up to utter piss take. But I was definitely more relaxed yesterday. Not that I'm tense now, to be clear. Still having fun here, but yeah. Norris now nearly 2 seconds clear at the front, 122.4, marginally quicker than Leclerc on that lap. So it looks like Lando is starting to stretch away. Piastri needs to make some moves, and he needs to make them now. As it stands, there's a 23-point swing to Norris, which puts Norris top of the championship. So Piastri, I said it on the other channel yesterday, with all of these the struggles at the last few races, Piastri's played his jokers now. He can't afford anymore. Let's have a look at this replay then. So Hamilton tucks in behind Leclerc. Leclerc comes across to try and get the toe from Norris, but that means that, I see. So Hamilton, oh God, Verstappen's so far clear of Russell. It's unbelievable. He's gone. He's past Russell. Yeah, shut up, George. Stop, mate. George cuts the grass as well, or one of the Mercedes does. But no. George is past the Mercedes at that point. I'm not having that well before the braking zone. But what's happened here is Leclerc I'll try and explain this the best I can. So Hamilton gets the tail off his teammate. Good stuff. Then comes alongside him to the right. Then gets the tail off Norris, which stops Leclerc being able to come over and get the tail off Norris, which actually helps Norris out big time. That then allows... There was contact between the two Ferraris. Hamilton takes P2. So Leclerc did cut the corner, which put him in the lead. I thought that was weird. And then he has to let his teammate through. So this is what... So Verstappen's already well past Russell at this point. And then he goes in, locks up. I mean... If he'd have pulled that off around the outside of 4 cars, it's so close to sliding into the wall, you know, that would have been one of the great F1 moves. But yeah, no, for me, he's well past Russell at that point. I'm sorry, no, George can just shush. But there was definitely contact between the two Ferraris there. And off goes Max Verstappen. Again, this time at the same corner, actually. Trying to pass, I'm guessing, Lewis Hamilton. Because he is ahead of him. So what's happened there? We've now got 3-ish wide. And Lewis Hamilton locks up, and then he cuts the corner at turn 4. And Max is off again. What's happening out there? George Russell is off track. We've got Ollie Bearman squeezing up the inside of Max Verstappen, trying to take P4. And he has got him. And Max Verstappen's going to try it to 7, but Max has got a problem there, surely. Now Ollie Bearman's off track. What is going on? How is Bearman P4? This is why I get why we need to see replays of the start, but bog off. Why are we not watching that over a replay of the start? Put the replay of the start picture in picture. For God's sake. So just basically, Norris is still on track. Leclerc's still on track. Everyone else, whatever, yeah? Goodness me, but Bearman's P4. Yeah, I spotted the smoke on the Red Bull, but I don't think it doesn't look. It might not be mechanical because he's got going again, but it might have just been that he was bottoming out over curbs or whatever, and that made that. But yeah, at the moment, it's all falling apart for Piastri and Verstappen. Up to the top of the championship goes Lando Norris, and by 9 points as well. Max is gonna. I don't know how the stewards are sorting this out. You're all going to scream, no, we have to be fair about this. But so Verstappen went for it into turn 1. They bang wheels. That forces Hamilton off track. He then comes back up the inside. They bang wheels again. Verstappen then cuts the corner. Now, let's have a look at this from the driving guidelines stuff. So Verstappen's earned the right to some space there. He's hit the apex. He does go in hot, though, doesn't he? They bang wheels. Then Lewis is off track and comes back, and they almost touch again. Then Verstappen goes off track. Yeah, he's gone in quite... It's one of those classic, I've made the apex first, but I was flying in there. Then, I don't know if he tried to get the position back to Hamilton there, and then Hamilton got it wrong. He's cut the corner. Didn't rejoin correctly. Then we've got Bearman sneaking up the inside of 2 of them with Russell off. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, but I was going to say, some of you are going to be sort of saying, oh, we need to be fair with these things. But I kind of hope the stewards have just got their eyes shut and they're not going to bother, because I know cutting the track is a big no-no in motor racing, but this is great fun. I don't want penalties handed out everywhere, but I think... I don't know. So lap 1, turn 1, they're looking at Sainz and Alonso for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. Bigger issues at the moment, I think, to be honest, stewards. But yeah, it's so difficult to try and unpick that, isn't it? I think Verstappen, the Russell one I need to see again. I think Verstappen and Hamilton, 6 of one, half dozen the other there, as Piastri tries it on Tsunoda, and Tsunoda says, no, mate, you're not coming through here. Nice one at turn 4. But I think, yeah, 6 of one, half dozen the other, as Lawson pits to retire, by the way. Hamilton's been noted for failing to follow the race directions instructions of skate road. I said that, didn't I? If you're just tuning in Bearman's P4 and you want to know how, guess. I don't know. But yeah, I think Max and Lewis, 6 1, half dozen the other there. They've both been off track. They've both banged wheels. Hamilton's still P3. Verstappen lost out and ended up P5. The Russell Verstappen one, some of you are saying, might need to be looked at, but Let's see. Gizzy Guzzy says crashed up and is back. Well, he's got to go for it for the championship. He has to take chances and risks. And when Verstappen has to take risks, there will be, or any driver has to take risks, there will inevitably be contact. So it's not a crashed happen thing. It's a driver must take risks to win the championship. So in these cars, which are so difficult to overtake in and are so massive and clunky, contact is inevitable. I just, yeah, let him get on with it. Terribly unlikely, says Boom Spoon, but if Ollie did get P4, he jumped 4 places in the championship. You say that, but I mean, he might do. Still, again, Piastri cannot clear Tsunoda. They're looking at... Did that say after the race? No, so investigating Hamilton for the turn 4 incident, which is the bit where he cut turn 4 and didn't follow the escape road round and went on the grass, which is against the race director's notes. That's probably going to be 5 seconds. Yeah. They're also looking at Verstappen and Hamilton. That's been noted. Usually the first driver listed is the one that is considered to be investigated, isn't it? I don't know. We'll find out. I'm not crofty, and I'm trying not to be, but I'm enjoying it. So have a look at it. Was the from what you guys have seen, and I'm just asking you in chat now, was the contact between Hamilton and Verstappen at turn 2? There was at turn 1. Did Hamilton hit Verstappen at turn 2 as well? Verstappen's struggling here, is he? There's debris on the track. There's gravel and grass, or grass and mud on the track. But Verstappen doesn't really have the pace at the moment. I wonder if he's just going to back off and charge up and go for Bearman now. But Antonelli is threatening here. There's going to be so much damage out there. Meanwhile, up front, Lando Norris just happily plodding along. Charles Leclerc doing similar. Split strategies is a great idea, Boom Spoon. Yeah, I agree. If you're Ferrari, you've got to try something here. Although that little squabble has sort of pushed Lewis Hamilton back a little bit, hasn't it? Which might take that away. But if they want to win this, they asked on Sky, I think, they asked Karun Chandok, do you think Ferrari need to work together on strategy today and on the run to turn 1, or are they both going to be in it to win it? And I just thought to myself, they need to. The only way you're beating Norris today is if Norris makes a mistake or if you work together. So they're going to have to. So Hamilton was just turning. Max was taking too much speed into the corner. Oh, no. I'm talking about the second corner where Max is on the outside, Ayinka, and Hamilton on the inside. Was a contact there? I know there was at the first one. As through past Tsunoda goes Piastri into P8, but he needs to make some moves now. Hamilton now on another track limits, of course, that turn 4 one, so he's already on 2, so he can have one more before a black and white flag. Verstappen, I think he's just breaking the toe to Antonelli, but he's dropping back from Bearman. How much damage is there on the floor of that Red Bull, the side of that Red Bull, and what's he taken out the tyres? Now 7 points as it stands in the championship. Norris leading, 7 clear of Piastri. Oh, that was yeah. This is pretty much going to plan. Norris has told if we could start opening the gap to Leclerc behind. So now needs to start pushing and gets to a 3.1 clear, 3/10 quicker on the last lap. So he is pushing his Lando. Maybe it's the operating temps of the mediums. And softs will be faster anyway, won't they, Nick? You're right. It says softer tyres, it should be grippier, but they will drop off. Well, they seem to do all right on Friday, actually, quite strangely, but it was a good 11 laps. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't know. Ocon P10, by the way, so a very good day potentially for Haas. Bearman still 1.3 clear of Max Verstappen. Yes, Ollie Bearman is P4. So just after all that shakes out, let's run through the order. So Norris, Leclerc, and Hamilton is still your top 3 somehow. Ollie Bearman P4, Max Verstappen 5th, Antonelli 6th, Russell 7th. Only Max Verstappen. All of that chaos, still where he started. brilliant. George Russell 7th, Oscar Piastri up to 8th, having passed Tsunoda, but down overall, of course. And that's Ocon really threatening here, actually. Yuki Tsunoda, he's quicker, in fact. That's the battle for 9th and 10th. Tsunoda 9th, Ocon 10th. Hadjar 11th, Bortoleto 12th, Sainz 13th, Alonso 14th, 15th for Stroll, 16th Albon, 17th Hulkenberg, 18th Gasly, 19th Colapinto. Lawson has retired. He did have damage early on and had to pit for a new front wing, so maybe retired for damage. Could be mechanical, but nothing official as of yet. So yeah, Max Verstappen starts P5, has all that chaos in the opening 11 laps, and is still P5. Pit window, Jamie. Russell's got a track limits one as well. They're still going through. It's a pit window. Those on the mediums can apparently go to lap 42 if they want to. So we'll see. Soft window is anything from lap 16 to lap 29. So soon for the softs, but mediums could be 26, could be 42, depending on what second tyre they want to put on. So long way potentially. And there goes Ocon having a look at Tsunoda, who moved quite late there, but I think all's fair in love and war. That's okay. Norris was starting to pull away, but Leclerc just pegging him back a little bit there. 122.5 to 122.4, so 3.8 the gap. So didn't run away by anything massive there, Lando, but he's quicker on this lap so far. Is Leclerc, sorry. Ocon, dangerous defence there, says Esteban Ocon. Esteban Ocon complaining about drivers moving late in defence. That's Esteban Ocon. I'll CC in Fernando Alonso to that radio and see what he says. Neelish says, surely Max has damage. He made the desperate move early because he knew the race pace would be atrocious. Yeah, it could be damage, or it could even be the race pace, to be fair. Neelish, he's been struggling, hasn't he, with it? He said on Friday he wasn't happy, so it could be that. But, yeah, Norris is... I mean, he's just on a 22.2. You say he's protecting his tyres, Nick. Just on a 22.2 to a 22.9. So he's still quick, isn't he? Whatever. But yeah, I mean, I said it yesterday, and I said it again at the start of the stream. If Norris gets to turn 1 first, he'll disappear. And all right, fine. Technically, Leclerc led very early on because he cut the corner, but Norris did end up back in P1 pretty quickly, so yeah, I thought he'd disappear. So this isn't a surprise to me. It's what's happening behind that's the surprise. The stewards have decided the incident between Carlos Sainz and Fernando Alonso, that has been reviewed. No further investigation for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. It might be a few laps before we get all of these decisions in, because I imagine they've still got more to go look at yet. But we've got Hamilton under investigation for leaving the track and not rejoining, as per the race director's notes for turn 4. And we've got both Verstappen and Hamilton under investigation for whatever happened at turn 1 and turn 2. ST says, I'm relaxed. Norris will throw this away one way or another, or just get a slow pit stop. And then, I don't know, they'll have to ask Ferrari to help them out. Esty Pesty, I like that, Jonathan. I like that. Esty Pesty. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna write that one down. I'm gonna steal that one. Just another word. Can I just say a word on Ollie Bearman quickly? He's matching the pace of Max Verstappen, and he's quicker than Antonelli and Russell. I mean, that's whatever's going on behind there. That's still really solid from Bearman, and not that far. They've now noted Lewis Hamilton for leaving the track and getting advantage at turn 4. And now they've decided no further action on the escape roads instruction. And now they're investigating him for the same corner for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. Is that just a change of... I wonder if that's that they've looked at it and then changed what the penalty is being investigated for, or the potential penalty is investigated for. I don't think the stewards know, to be honest. But that's an evergreen statement, if ever there was one when it comes to F1. So I can only assume that's what's happened there. Bearman's got a track limits time delay. But yeah, I can only assume that they've looked at it and it's not actually a race director's escape road issue. And maybe it is the leaving the track and getting advantage. I don't know. Or it's a completely separate thing. Uh, 10-second time penalty for Lewis Hamilton for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. That's a big penalty. It would drop him right now well through the field. So that's a hefty penalty. So that must be for the turn 4 one then. I think. I don't know. Ollie Bearman's on for a podium here. Long way to go. Yes, he can save his pit stop. Yes, he can. Don't worry. With a long way to go, yeah, he's got to try and stay within 10 seconds. But Ollie Bearman, if the race ended now, which it won't because it's only laps 16 and 71, so that's a moronic statement, would put him on the podium. Suddenly, Haas have got a bit more nervous. There you go. That, I'll be honest, that I need to see what that's for. If that is for as Ocon's still threatening Tsunoda, I don't know which incident that's for. I don't know. If it's for the leaving the track and not rejoining properly, which they're saying it isn't, it's for getting an advantage, then are we going to get a replay? Is this the replay? This is the replay. So they're calling. So Hamilton locked up, went straight on, cut the corner, and he did, to be fair, he did rejoin well clear of Max Verstappen when he came back on, but he locked up. So maybe he should have backed off and given the time up, and that's maybe what they're saying. But that, you know, I'm not defending Hamilton there, but that's not 10 seconds worth of time. So if that's the incident, and he has gained an advantage there, that is absolutely a penalty. 10 seconds seems a lot, but I think they have their set guidelines, don't they, for causing a collision and leaving the track and gaining an advantage. So if the minimum for that is 10 seconds, then that's what it has to be. But yeah, exactly. That's messed up the opportunity there for well, you could maybe leave Hamilton out long now to try and sort of interfere with Norris a bit, which sounds wrong as an expression, but you know what I mean. So the standard penalty for getting advantage is 10 seconds. The drivers asked for it to be increased when some drivers stated just take the penalty. Yeah. If that's the standard penalty, then whether he gained a 10-second advantage or not is irrelevant, isn't it? So, but yeah, no, they could leave Hamilton out long to try and interfere with Norris to help Leclerc or something like that. But ultimately, he's going to lose 10 seconds at his stop, so that stops any kind of undercut or anything like that, doesn't it? Not that he's close enough for undercut. He's 12.5 off the lead, but well. Piastri's now right in the back of Russell. Bearman's 2 seconds clear of Max Verstappen and matching him for pace. He's only 0.2 slower than Hamilton and Leclerc ahead. Okay, he's a second off the pace of the leader, but that's Lando, Norris and a McLaren in clear air. So, I mean, yeah. Oh, I know, Addy boy. I was just making a point that it didn't look like he gained 10 seconds from that, so losing that feels harsh in that context. But I know what the rules are around that. I know that. So, I'm just making a point about time lost and time gained in those situations more than anything. I know it's the action that gets the penalty, not the amount. I know, but I'm not as dumb as I look, which is hilarious because some of the things that fall out of my mouth are some of the dumbest things in the world, aren't they? But there you go. I'm still here. Still nothing on the. So was that the Verstappen Hamilton one is still being reviewed? Did that go to investigated? Verstappen Hamilton was noted for causing collision on turn 1. That never went to investigated, as far as I can see. Interestingly. Probably. Yeah, probably still complaining. So Piastri is 6 tenths behind Russell. So that's the battle really now. Not a lot of battling out there, frankly. You got Stroll 7 tenths behind his teammate. You got Ocon 8 tenths behind Tsunoda, and Piastri 2 tenths behind Russell. Here he has a look now, but he's not going to get through there. I mean, Russell might have some floor damage. He's been off track a couple of times and over curbs, hasn't he? So who knows? But is Piastri going to get the run at turn 4 here? So watching from the rear wing of George Russell. So he'll go to the inside to cover that. In fact, Piastri, he can't. Tricky position this for Piastri, as Russell went deep, and now we cut to a replay of Carlos Sainz. running a little bit wide and cutting the corner. I mean, I don't know how far in advance they have to hit the replay button, but come on. For God's sake. Yeah, so a tricky one for Piastri because he needs to take some risks because he's losing the championship lead, but he can't afford to DNF with his teammate leading. But then he's only P8, so I mean, yeah, 4 points could be critical at the end of the season, but we're not talking about him losing 10 points here, are we? So, tricky. Verstappen is, yeah, they are now investigating the one. Thank you, Fud. I just spotted it pop on the thingy, the feed. He is under investigation, so that in race control's defense, they're having to go through quite a lot, aren't they? And ticking them off as they go, and that maybe wasn't the first one on their list, but it's taking a while. Piastri needs to get this done. Russ isn't going to make this easy. He needs to help Antonelli a little bit here as well. Because Ferrari scoring big is going to be big for the constructors, isn't it? So apparently that's Stroll ahead of Piastri, according to the graphic there. It wasn't. It was Russell. And still is Russell. As past Fernando Alonso goes Lance Stroll. See, this is... If you're newish to F1... you might have heard a lot this weekend about how DRS is a little bit less effective here. This is a good example of this. Russell hasn't got DRS on Antonelli. Piastri has got DRS on Russell, but he's struggling to get through. Somewhere else, like a Monza or a Spa down the Kemmel Straight, he breezes past more than likely. But here, with the altitude, thinner air, it's less effective. It's interesting. It's a good example of it. And you've got to, Russell's getting a little toe off his teammate as well, which is helping him to defend. So, yeah. It's a track that looks like it should give us epic racing, but it doesn't always, does it? But it's been fun so far. Chaotic, really, more than anything. A sight as a 1:21.6 and the fastest lap of the race down in P19. As you do. Nice, not new, but a used set of soft tyres. In comes Fernando Alonso to get rid of his softs. I imagine... If you're Aston, do you stick the hard on and see what happens? Verstappen's also been noted for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. So turn 3, so Verstappen here, potentially on for quite a few penalties. A slow stop for Alonso, 7.1 seconds. Hopefully we get a replay of that one. Probably not. We'll probably have to watch somebody's wife or girlfriend in the garage in a minute. But hopefully we'll get a replay of what happened to Alonso there. So this is Carlos Sainz overtaking Franco Colapinto on the run to turn 1. Nicely done. Piastri, I wonder if... It's a little bit early. Does Piastri need to try something here? Because he could undercut Russell, Antonelli and Verstappen here. Oh, no. Ferrari say they don't agree with the penalty. And Lewis Hamilton says, that's such nonsense, man. The grip is so small there. The grip there is so low. He didn't say nonsense, to be clear. He said star, 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 star. If you're McLaren, then, I'll throw it to you in chat while we're talking strategy. Do you think about maybe pulling Piastri in early and trying to undercut Russell, Antonelli and Verstappen, maybe even Bearman if he's quick enough? Or I suppose it comes down to the clear air behind, doesn't it? There might not be a lot, so maybe I'm being a bit silly there and not looking at the bigger picture. But reviewed no further investigation for Max Verstappen at turn 3 for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. So he's okay there. It's the other one that we need to keep an eye on. Again, yeah, with the Piastri thing, it's about the gap behind. He's only got 7 seconds back to Tsunoda. 22 we said-ish, didn't we, for a stop? So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, he's going to drop well down the field and into quite a bit of traffic. So maybe actually he's better sticking with Russell for now and hope that the likes of Hadjar, Bortoletto and co start pitting. As soon as that sort of anyone back sort of Tsunoda, Ocon, Hadjar backwards start pitting, that's when Piastri needs to make a call here. Now, Antonelli's been called into the pits, and he does indeed. So he's going to try and undercut Verstappen. So this is a good measure here of where Piastri would have roughly ended up if he tried it. Yeah. I know which one you're talking about, Sticklebrick. I know. So Antonelli has pitted. Was it a good stop? I mean, 22.4 overall, so it must have been okay. A couple of tenths maybe off, but Piastri just needs to get on with it now. So Antonelli is going to come out. Is he ahead of Albon? He is just about. So there's a little gap there, Albon and Stroll between them, but he's still got to deal with Stroll's turbulent air here. So 2.8 behind. It's better than being right on his backside, but that's still not the best, is it? But we'll see. As it stands, Norris is now 5 clear of Piastri. Oh, dear. Oh, this is going to set people off. Turn 1 incident involving Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton has been reviewed. No further action for causing a collision. Thoughts, chat? I don't know. Hamilton's in the pits now from P3. Bearman now moves into 3rd place. So Hamilton now obviously has to wait 10 seconds. You are obliged to serve your penalty the next time you pit. You can't just pick when you want to take it or leave it to the end. So he has to wait for 10 seconds and wait, and then off he goes. He's going to fall well through the field here. Hopefully not into too much traffic, but he will have got rid of his moving now. So he's got rid of that penalty. Nice set of medium tyres on. 13.5. So slightly slower than he'd want there with the ignoring the 10 seconds. I mean, 3.5. Would have wanted a second off that, but yeah, not always easy to measure that. So Antonelli is ahead of Hamilton, as you'd expect. Max being told he's staying out. We are on a 1 stop or a 2 stop at the moment. Question. Yeah. I don't. So what's happened there? I'm just listening. So, GP, Gianpiero Lambiase, has been talking there to the strategy team and pressed the wrong button, I think, and has broadcast that they are on a 1 or 2 stop. Now, Sky are saying this is terrible. You can't do that's really bad news for Red Bull. But I get their point. But and you've got to be careful with these things. But they've basically told us what we knew already. He's either on a 1 or a 2 stop. Nobody's pitting 3 times today unless they're going late for no reason. In comes Piastri and Bearman as well. Bearman's 2.7. Piastri's was slow at 3.6. So yeah, I get why Sky are saying they need to be careful with that sort of thing, but they've not really told us anything other than what we already knew. He was either going to pit once or twice, and that's what he's been told. So, but yeah, slow stop for Oscar there. Bearman is ahead of Antonelli, but only just as Verstappen moves up to P3. So he's got a little bit of air. He has got a Sauber right in front of him. So Piastri came out 13th ahead of Hamilton, so he's jumped Hamilton, but that's, again, not a surprise because Lewis had his penalty, but he is ahead, so that's a good one there. Liam says, this race is a farce, utterly disgusting stewarding. Rules apply to one driver but not another. This sport has become a joke. Strong view there. I will say, not to be a dick about it or condescending, I don't mean that in any way, it's not my intention, but when it comes to bad stewarding, rules apply to one and not necessarily another. The sport hasn't become a joke. The sport's always been like that, Liam. If we're talking about things not going one way when you think it should, it's always happened. But yeah. But that's okay. There'll be that again. I'm not being an arse about that. I'm just saying that it's always been a bit like that. As Piastri passes Albon, that's that one done. Not going to get to Russell, so Piastri's still going to have to try and clear him. He wasn't. I tell you what, he wasn't far off. His tyres are at temperature, so we'll see if he gets a run at turn 4. Russell needs to run off this corner, but yeah, the sport. Antonelli here having a go at Bortoletto, Hulkenberg pits. Sainz been investigated for speeding in the pit lane. That's going to be a penalty. Usually, as I said before, if you get investigated for speeding in the pit lane, it's a slam dunk because you've cut a beam somewhere that said he's going too fast. So generally speaking, 99.9% of the time, that is a penalty. And it's not needing investigation, really. To trigger that investigation, you have to have been going faster than you should have done. So, yeah. Exactly. There you go. Very good. Sports the yoke. I was just going to say, I have to say, the sport is definitely gone and going down a road that is not a road I want it to go down. I prefer it not to go down the road of, I've said before, the WWE stuff, spectacle over sport, but I still enjoy it. I'm not going to complain about that. It's still good stuff. So, but I wouldn't have investigated any of that anyway. Let them get on with it. I want to say Dijon. Was it Peroni and somebody? That was racing. 5-second penalty for Carlos Sainz speeding in the pit lane. See, this is the thing, right? This is the issue I have with penalties. Very quickly, because we need to keep an eye on the track stuff, because Stroll's in as well, and Hamilton is now past Albon. But I understand that the drivers wanted a higher penalty or a harsher penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. Completely get that. So I'm not disputing that should be 10 seconds. That's what the drivers wanted. That's what the rule is. But 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane, which is surely far more dangerous than leaving the track and gaining an advantage. Shouldn't that be 10 or a drive-through as a baseline? Shouldn't that be a very, very harsh penalty given it's a safety issue? I don't know. Hulkenberg in the pits to retire. Sorry, Pascal, mate. Sorry. That was it. Dijon, Gilles Villeneuve and Rene Arnoux. Thank you, Nick. Getting people mixed up there. Yeah, thank you, mate. But yeah. But Hulkenberg's out of the race. This is starting to push the limit for suspension of disbelief, says the Haprust. The suspension, Bearman's up to P6 and is only just ahead of Antonelli. He's got to get racing here. So that is now a good move from Bearman on, or an important move, sorry, for Bearman on Hadjar to move into P5. That then puts a car between him and his net rival for that position, I suppose. I feel like a speeding in the pit lane, but nothing against Carlos Sainz, of course. I'm not picking on him, but I feel like speeding in the pit lane should be... Yeah, I Fud's sort of coming with the guidelines, and I'm glad that he has, because I know there are specific guidelines. It says that less than 6 kilometers is 5 seconds, 6 to 15 is a drive-through, 15 is a 10-second. I think it should just be a heavy penalty either way, because it's a safety thing, but also that's 8 years of Jonty banging me over the head about safety, and which doesn't sound safe itself, does it? Which sticks in my head quite a lot. So yet to stop. I'll answer that one for you. AM says, let's have a look. Norris, Leclerc, Verstappen and Tsunoda yet to stop. Hadjar yet to stop. Bortoletto yet to stop. Albon, Gasly and Colapinto also yet to stop. Everyone else has been in once. Hulkenberg and Lawson have retired. Most cars on mediums now. Albon's still on his hards, as is Colapinto, and we've got the softs, of course, for Norris and Leclerc, who could they've both got clear air, so they could both manage their tyres quite nicely. But yeah, Piastri needs to be clearing these cars quickly. He's past Bortoletto. So where's Piastri going to end up here? So he'll be ahead of Hadjar and Tsunoda for sure. Possibly Verstappen, actually, because he's considerably quicker. But I wonder if Red Bull are thinking tyre delta here. I mean, they're on the mediums. They can run a lot further anyway, can't they? But maybe go as far as they can and just stick the softs on. Or are they thinking maybe 2 soft stints if we get a safety car? I'm just trying to get in the head of the radio message from Lambiase to Verstappen saying we're on a 1 or a 2. Does that suggest borderline? Carl was jumping in the pit lane. He says on the radio as well. So yeah, Yuki needs to play the team game. What Red Bull really need here from Tsunoda is, and I appreciate it's not as critical as it was then, but they need Perez, Abu Dhabi 2021 kind of defense now, don't they? So yeah. That's Piastri past Hadjar. I mean, Piastri's pace is good here, but can he get these mediums? Actually, it'll be worth keeping an eye on Verstappen, actually. I mean, number one, generally, because it's Max Verstappen. But who knows what's going to happen. But number two, whatever lap he comes, bearing in mind all that off-track stuff he had, the traffic he's been in, it'll be interesting what lap he can get to with some sort of decent pace still in the car. And then we can kind of gauge whether Piastri can get... He should be able to get to the end from there, because he pitted about lap 27, which... Yeah. So 23 to 29, put the mediums on, and you should get to the end. So he should be fine for now. It's whether he's got the performance at the end. But it'll be interesting to see how far before the pace drops off, is what I'm saying on Verstappen. What did you say? Oh, sorry, RC. I didn't see that one, mate. Yeah, copy what you're saying. Didn't quite see it, but yeah, no. I'm sorry, mate. I'll give you the shout out anyway. Leclerc being told to box 16.8 seconds off the lead. I think Lando Norris has won this. So it's about who's got... And I think, to be fair, I think Leclerc's got P2 as well. So it's about what's happening for that final step on the podium, isn't it, really? Leclerc did carry on, though, unless he's pitting this lap. Bearman now 1.3 behind Tsunoda. Piastri 1.4 behind Russell, by the way, as Hamilton clears Hadjar for P9. So I know they're all on fresher tyres, but this doesn't feel like it's working for Hadjar, does it? He's falling into clutch to Bortoletto, who's also on the same life and compound of tyre. So let's see what happens between them. They're sort of matching each other, to be fair, on lap time on this lap. So, oh no, Bortoletto 4 tenths quicker. Sorry, I look at the wrong one. Yeah, 4 tenths quicker. In comes Norris then. A lap later than we thought he was going to be in. But, yeah, I think Norris, if he wants to stay out, I mean, 5 seconds for undercut, do you reckon? He can wait a couple of laps, can't he, comfortably if he wants to. But he is coming up to traffic now. He is in traffic. So he's got Gasly and Colapinto Gasly ahead. So he might want a 2.2 from Ferrari. Good stop. Might want to just get in and avoid that traffic. What Norris doesn't need today is any variable. Really, so... Nah, I don't believe it. There goes Bearman cruising past Yuki Tsunoda like he's not even there. So I was going to say well done, Yuki, but what can he do on 31 old mediums versus 7-lap old mediums, really? But it is a Haas. So, yeah. Bearman's doing well here. He's not... The podium still feels unlikely, because Antonelli's less than a second behind and Russell's not far from Piastri's coming through as well. But he is going to be net P3 when all this shakes out. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's still... Yeah. He will be ahead just of Verstappen. Verstappen, 28, yeah, 41, yeah, so he would be. Ollie Bearman's dad excited in the garage there. Hang on, mate, we're on lap 31, 33, mate, 39 to go. Quite a story, wouldn't it, if it happened? But long way to go. Yeah. Verstappen's lap times, by the way, to be fair, are pretty decent. Norris did a 23.2 on the last lap. Verstappen a 23.3. He is nearly a second slower than Bearman, to be fair. But yeah, no, not bad from Max, that pace, actually. That's Antonelli passing Tsunoda. These are all DRS fresh tyre overtakes. So they're not particularly exciting, but they're still overtakes. They'll still count. Tommy says to lap 43 plus for Max to pit. He could go to lap 42 and put the softs... 42 to 48 to put the softs on. Tsunoda just let Russell through, or was it just no point fighting? I don't know. But yeah, so 42 to 48 for the medium tyre winner to put the softs onto the end. So that's what he's doing here, I think. Which is strategy, by the way. It's a little bit safety car hangy, but it is actually the strategy as well. So safety car now, Verstappen's P3. But can he get the softs to the end from there? Should be able to, shouldn't he? 10 laps, maybe not, but... We said this last week, didn't we, about... Because Warden just said that while that these soft tyres hold on so long. We said this last week. If Pirelli really want to mix up strategy, you bring the softest compound. So if you see Piastri here passing Tsunoda, gets that done. If you come to Mexico and your tyres last year were the C3, 4 and 5, why not bring the 4, 5 and 6 this season? And a lot of people say, well, then the C6 will never get used, it'll just fall apart and they won't last very long. But then I think, Nick made the point the other week. If the tyres start falling apart, then you have to pit to change your tyres. Norris is coming in, by the way. So why not just come a step softer? The only places you'd maybe not want to risk it with a sort of high demand tracks like Suzuka, Silverstone, for example. But somewhere like this, you could a little bit slow on the right front, Norris. Nothing too dramatic though. 2.6, nice and easy. Fresh set of mediums. He'll go to the end, and that's that one. Done. But he had the gap, so Verstappen now will cut that down, of course, because he hasn't stopped and stays out. But Yinka says, please remember to like the stream. Yes, please do remember to like the stream. Also, remember to click the link in the description or the one pinned at the top of the chat to go and subscribe to my other channel, Formula Sean, which is going to be the home of the qualifying watch-alongs going forward. And following our conversation last night, probably sprint qualifying and sprint race watch-alongs as well. So keep an eye out for those at Sao Paulo. That could be fun. And one day, either before the end of this season or certainly for 2026, the return of the race reaction as well. So well worth getting yourselves over there if you're interested in listening to me talk crap about F1. And if you're not, frankly, I can't blame you. I think we could actually see. Arav was making a great point. I haven't got time to go to Twitter. Arav was making a great point, and I've got to read it because I know that it was a little bit artificial. Fernando Alonso is retiring. I can't find him. I'll find it in a bit because I'm trying to keep an eye on what's happening here. But yeah, no. That's Alonso out of the race. I'm asking the other account because I don't know. There we go. That's a Mercedes not letting him get a battle there for... Has George got past that? No, Antonelli's still ahead of George Russell. So, Arav said, very quickly, just on tyres, when Pirelli changed the tyre behaviour, bending to drive a waffle, to no longer have a big drop-off period ending in a massive cliff, the strategy of ebb and flow of races got a lot more linear and bland. Bring back the 2011 to 2016 era of tyre behaviour and the rainbow tyre colours while we're at it. Yes to the rainbow tyre colours. That was a really great point. And I wanted to read it on stream. I forgot to do it earlier, so I thought I would do. But that's a really great point. We've got the penalty for science already, sure that's not a new one. So yeah. Having those days where there was a cliff, where if your tyres hit a point where they just couldn't do any more, you'd suddenly be 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds a lap slower and you'd have to pit. Yes, it meant that we got slightly artificial racing in the sense that, or artificial strategy in the sense that you get 3, 4, 5 pit stops a race. I mean, I think China one year was chaos. But it was so much, it meant that strategy mattered. Whereas now you can just stick a set of softs on, do 2/3 of the race in it, and then bang the medium on at the end or vice versa. So a cliff is what we need, as Fudd says there. So a cliff is all we need. Doesn't work, does it? It sounds slightly depressing, actually. Let's not get into that. Piastri is all over the back of Russell now. Tsunoda finally pits. I say finally pits. That's about where you'd expect him to. Well, a little bit early, actually. A little bit early for Tsunoda to pit. Probably 6 laps early, but he was very slow. So there you go. Ocon passing Alex Albon for P11 round the out. It's a lovely move around the outside of turn 1, then up the inside of turn 2. Nice move, Esteban. Esty Pesty. Albon came back at him, though, and tries to get it back at turn 4, but Ocon just held on. Nice driving there to take that position, which is P11, which could be points, because Bortoletto ahead of him yet to stop. So, watching that again, actually, more impressed with Albon, because his tyres are considerably older, and they're the hard tyre, which aren't really doing anything at the moment, are they? So, Verstappen in the pit. So they're pitting a little bit earlier here than Red Bull than the strategy guide suggested. It said 42 to 48, and they're coming on lap 38. So I've got a flipping McLaren up my rear end, says George Russell. So Antonelli passes Verstappen, of course, in the pit lane. Russell and Piastri through as well. So Verstappen has put the softs on to go to the end, you would assume. So he's going to be quick. Nick says early 2010s were a joke. Artificially making tyres fall apart is pure WWE. No, I agree. We don't need to go back to that specifically, but I think the point Ara's making is moving to tyres that behave in that way. So you don't need them to all, like I say, you don't need to drop off and have like 3, 4, 5 stops a race, but having them have a cliff forces teams into strategy rather than just what we're seeing here, which is just tyres that can do... Where was it? I'm sure we've had it this season where the soft tyre could basically have done a full race somewhere. We don't want that. So we need to the tyres need to degrade more to open up strategy. I agree with you. I don't want to go back to the days of stupid strategies like that. That was all very artificial, but you can certainly make them behave in a way that opens up strategy because, yeah, everyone's going to one stop today. Maybe someone will try to, but you know, those hard tyres will go to the end. The mediums probably could have gone further than that if they wanted to. We saw in Austin, those tyres went a long way when everyone thought they were going to fall apart. So just need a cliff or whatever we'd call it now, an equivalent. Maybe not to the extent that the old cliff was there, but the tyre behaviour will allow it to happen. And that is Piastri having to... Russell having to defend against Piastri or felt the need to. Tricky this. This is tricky for Piastri. He's got to get the move done. But I'd love a tyre war, Nick. You know I'd love a tyre war. I've had this conversation before, mate. I'd love a tyre war. Pirelli versus Bridgestone. Or let's go really old, a bit more old school and go Bridgestone versus Goodyear. That'd be fun. So Verstappen's going to be quick here. He's a 10th quicker than the race leader at the moment. So he is closing in. I mean, he's down in 8th place. So... yeah, I think this might come alive in the last few laps again. Yeah, I think that's a bit fairer, Michael. Maybe not a cliff, but more of a steep incline. Just something that, or decline, or whichever. Just to. I just don't like the idea of a soft tyre being able to do a full race ever, which is, I mean, I suppose you could in Monaco most years, couldn't you? Because Monaco is nothing, is it? But when it comes to tyre wear, I mean, add laser guns, yes, why not? Make it interesting. 32 laps to go. We're well over halfway in now. But in chat, what would you rate this race out of 10 to this point? We'll review at the end, but what would you rate it to this point out of 10? 1 being absolutely dreadful and 10 being, again, the greatest thing you've ever witnessed in your life. I think we've had plenty of overtaking, mostly because cars are coming through the field. We had all that drama early on, didn't we, in chaos? We're potentially on for a surprise result here with Bearman in P3. This could still come alive even more of it. So I think we're looking at, I would probably say just above average, so 6, 5, 7 maybe. I'm not going to be talking 8 and above. I can't see that happening, but I don't think it warrants like a 3 or anything. I feel like I've just been told off by George Russell. Sorry. That's why I went quiet. I really apologise for the dead air, but George Russell really going in on his engineer there. I think basically, Piastri's got the faster car. I'm trying to keep him behind. I'm quicker than Antonelli. I'm happy to give the position back if I don't make any gains on this, as they do swap positions. But he was getting angry about his tyres being cooked there. So, yeah, pretty... I thought he was really angry. I was like, I thought we were told off now. He just said on the radio, oh, great, full of sarcasm. So, yeah, Russell's chosen today to be a bit of a whiny knobhead, but I get it. I'd be frustrated as well, to be fair. Yeah, I feel like, exactly, Michael. I feel like I need to tell Russell I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry, George. I didn't mean to, mate. It's, I'm wearing the shirt. I'm trying my best to help. Yeah, so they will swap the Mercedes back then, I guess is the point there. Because Russell felt he had more pace, but we'll find out, won't we? The trouble is it has put Antonelli... I mean, Antonelli's got DRS, so he might be okay. But Piastri's struggling here to get through. But now that Antonelli's got the DRS, of course, and Russell had the DRS, it makes it more difficult. Piastri might have to start taking a couple of chances here. He is P6. So, but, Hamilton's coming for him. Verstappen did a 21.4 on that lap, which is 2/10 quicker than a race leader. So he's absolutely flying. And it was a second quicker than Hamilton, and even quicker than that, a second and a half over Piastri. So he's quick. Albon finally pits. So, yeah, too little too late, says Jamie. I don't know. I think he'll still get Bearman. It's whether Verstappen can catch them now because he's flying at the moment. Russell 22.1, Verstappen 21.4. So that's the question. Jonty's sending me some messages. I think he thinks race control are a bit shit today. What's new? They're dreadful at times. There you go. Just been asked about tyre options. Lando, if they need to make any changes at any point between soft and medium, says doesn't feel too bad. So I'm assuming they just think he's safety car, anything like that. So I think Bearman's got a shot at a really great result here. I know that sounds obvious because he's P3 right now, but I still fancy a Piastri or somebody coming for him towards the end. But Oscar cannot get past Antonelli, and he's trying. He's moving offline, having a look at all sorts, but he's costing himself time there. But at a very good point, actually, there from Jonathan. I mean, George hasn't exactly disappeared, has he? If anything, he's holding up Antonelli, who seems quicker. So Verstappen's flying. But like you say, he might burn through his tyres, so we'll see here. If Verstappen gets P3, that'd be a hell of an achievement today from there. But it's just difficult to overtake. So hard to overtake. Generally in F1, but DRS is less effective here, like we keep saying. Oh, I don't know what to say here. It's. I'm listening to Karun. They're debating whether Piastri needs to pit again and try something, but. Is that what they're talking about? Are they really... I'm just listening to what Karun's saying here, because... I mean... They're talking about maybe doing something different. I don't know if they're thinking about strategy, but... Because they said they're about pitting and drop behind Hamilton and Verstappen and probably Sainz. But the thing is, it's all right to say, why doesn't he try something different, get some fresh tyres on? But he has pitted and put fresh tyres on. All right, fine, Russell and Antonelli have. But he still can't clear Russell and Antonelli. So even if you even if Piastri pits and drops behind Hamilton, Verstappen and Sainz, who's to say he's going to get past Sainz, Verstappen and Hamilton? He's not. Surely, in this situation, think of the championship, if Piastri can't get past those Mercedes, he has to just try and hope Verstappen doesn't catch him. I can't agree with the logic there that he needs to try something pit stop wise, because he can't clear Antonelli and Russell. So who's to say he's going to clear Verstappen and Hamilton? And then even if he did, he still then got to clear Antonelli and Russell again. So he's better off staying where he is on these tyres, fresher tyres by the way, than Antonelli by a couple of laps. So he's better off doing that and trying to clear these Mercs, or hoping for a mistake from them and then gain those positions, surely. Unless they were talking about somebody else, but I'm sure they're talking about Piastri there. Weird. If you watch the Sky coverage, let me know if I've got that wrong, but I thought they were talking about Piastri there, because I can't think of anyone else that would pit to drop behind it, unless they were thinking Russell maybe, or Antonelli. I think if it is Piastri, he's fine where he is for now, but again, I might have missed. I'm sort of can only half listen. That's the trouble. Yinka says Alpine team orders coming for P16. Yeah, that was all a storm in a teacup, wasn't it? Apparently, they were definitely talking about Piastri, so that's fine. It don't make any sense to me. Or I understand what they're trying to say, but then he's still got to then he's got to pass Verstappen, Hamilton, and the two Mercedes. Whereas now he's just, in quotes, just got to pass the two Mercedes. So no logic there. I feel like Piastri has the pace if he cleared the Mercedes to cruise up to the back of Bearman, but can he clear Bearman? That's the next thing, isn't it? So Verstappen's still flying. He's 1 second behind Hamilton, so that's going to get spicy now. Not far off DRS. Russell's still 2.2 seconds behind Bearman, so he can't catch him, can he? I think Piastri probably needs to try something different in terms of an overtake. Maybe. But where? I mean, your options are 1 for maybe a really late braking dive bomb into 13, but that's only going to go one way, probably contact. So difficult. There's really 2 spots, 1 and 4. Good spot there from Fudd. Antonelli now outside of DRS, so that might help Piastri this time around, still right behind him. They might, I mean, Russell's now 2.3 behind Bearman. Russell, who have more pace, is a 10th of a second lap slower at the moment than Bearman. Slower on this lap so far as well. So they're saying box to overtake Antonelli. Is that what McLaren just said? No, because I don't understand what the. I'm missing. I must be missing something here. I'm not a strategist. Clearly, I'm not an engineer. Clearly, but that doesn't make any sense to me. As Verstappen passes Lewis Hamilton for P7, nice and clean that one. But yeah, that I don't understand that. Pass to overtake is fine, but are Mercedes 2 stopping? Oh, he went deep to Antonelli, but that's, yeah. I mean, if Mercedes aren't 2 stopping, then is this going to be a 2-stop race? I mean, not for Lando Norris. He can pit another time if he wants to. But yeah. I can't. Sorry, I say a million times I hate dead air, but I'm just trying to think. Well, I hate dead air unless George Russell's shouting at me, and then I'll go quiet. But yeah, that was a fingers on lips moment. That was. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Hamilton told to box, so they're 2 stopping. So maybe it is a 2-stop today then. Maybe there are those in traffic and who, you know, don't forget Verstappen did pit probably a few laps in. And in comes Antonelli and Piastri. Hamilton's going to pit as well. This is really interesting. If Bearman could make a 1-stop work here, thinking it's a good start for Piastri. A good start from Piastri. Did he get... We need to see Antonelli. Oh, Antonelli's stop was slow and Piastri is ahead of him. That's a big moment. So that's worked. And Piastri is still P6. Well, he'll drop to P7 behind Ocon, but he's still ahead, so ahead of Antonelli. So actually, Piastri is going to end up where he was anyway. So that was worth it for Oscar, I suppose. A fresh or a new set of soft tyres. Pit to pass is fine if the others pit, if you follow. It's all right saying pit, all right, engineers saying pit to pass, but if Russell, Bearman, Leclerc don't pit again, I mean, Leclerc may be a bit of a stretch, but whatever. But if they don't pit again, then you're not passing. So, because, yeah, he'll have the tyre delta, he'll have some fresher tyres, but he couldn't pass Antonelli and Russell before. So, but he is ahead of Antonelli now, so he's got Ocon just ahead. So, it was a good start. It was a good start from McLaren, yeah. So actually, to be fair to McLaren, on this occasion, once Piastri clears Ocon, which he will do, he will be where he was anyway. So they've not lost anything by doing that. And they might undercut Russell, who has to stop. Bearman pits as well. So they are all two stopping. Well, that makes it a bit more fun, doesn't it? Rather than a boring one-stopper. There we go. This needs to be a good stop for Mercedes. It looked a little bit slow. Bearman 3.2 for Russell, 2.3 for Bearman. So Bearman's still ahead of Russell. Piastri is just coming out the final corner now. Sainz has served his penalty. Piastri's got... Oh, this is close. This is very close. Russell is just going to hang on there, but he's going to have to fight off Esteban Ocon, who goes down the inside into turn one. No, he doesn't. He thought better of it. But if he got through... I mean, can I say something maybe controversial? I think Ocon should have sent that, because that could have been a big help for his teammate Ollie Bearman. I think Ocon should have sent that. Just gone for it. Yeah, he's P6, but he's not going to end up there, is he? And that is Piastri having a look at Bearman, who goes deep. Piastri. Oh, Ocon be really aggressive. But Piastri be doubly aggressive. Gets the move done. A beautiful move at turn 6. Great racing from both of the drivers. And Piastri is now P6 and 2.3 behind Russell. And Ocon is holding back Antonelli, but I think Ocon should have sent that. Oh, that's a bold one from Antonelli up the inside of 10, and he got it done. Interesting. Well, that was fun. That was fun. Yeah, I'm just it's Croft today saying, why did they feel the need to pit Bearman? I sort of agree, actually. I think they could have taken a gamble and left him out, because Russell pitted, of course, as Hamilton passes Ocon. Russell could have pitted, and then that would have given Bearman a 22, 23 second pit stop. Incident involving cars 81. Piastri and Ocon noted for causing a collision. I don't think Piastri touched Ocon, did he? Don't penalise that, for God's sake. I didn't see anything in that battle between Ocon and Piastri, other than maybe Ocon moving quite, not aggressively, but quite cheekily into 6. He's allowed to defend, though. But I don't think there was anything there, or 5 rather than 6. There was anything there that made me think, oh my God, they've penalised this now. I don't know, but... So the purple sector starts coming now. So Russell's gone purple. His sector time is 4 tenths quicker than Bearman. I think they could have left Bearman out, or should have done. But then I suppose you paint yourself into a corner then, don't you? I suppose you have to. If you do that, you can't. Suddenly Russell puts in a stonking lap. You can't pit then. Russell does a 20 flat. That's quick. Piastri does a 20.6. That's quick. Hamilton does a 20.6 as well. That's quick. Wow, they are a second quicker than the leader. Haas would move up to 8th, by the way, and ahead of Sauber, and move to 62 points if it stayed like this. I don't think it's going to. I think Russell is going to get the run at Bearman here, so... Yeah, I just... difficult. Engineers are thinking on the fly as well, to a point, aren't they? Having to react to what's happening around them, but... this is my pace for info. Leclerc says on a 22 flat. Verstappen a 21.1. 9 tenths quicker, 11.5 behind. Verstappen is coming. He's on his way. Yeah. Wow. Russell has got more pace now that he's changed his tyres, interestingly. Tricky. If Max has got to stay out, surely. I mean, he did pit a bit early, but what, 4 laps early? Or earlier than the strategy guide suggested, but that strategy guide, I think, to a point, is out the window now because they weren't predicting this necessarily, so... No, Russell's all over Bearman now. I'm not sure. Switch the cars at turn 1. This might be the worst strategy I've ever had, says Albon. Cool. I think that was a mistake from Haas. Easy to say now, of course, but oh my God, Carlos Sainz has been noted for speeding in the pit lane, so he's got some sort of mechanical problem in that car, hasn't he? Carlos Sainz is not inexperienced enough or stupid enough to speed in the pit lane twice, unless he had the jumping in the pit lane. So I wonder if there is something going on there. So no further investigation. Ocon and Piastri, thank God. So yeah, they're just saying Kroon saying they sort of agree with him actually that Bearman probably wouldn't have got the podium anyway because Verstappen's pace and still his pace now, he probably would have got him eventually anyway. So, but if you leave him out, you give yourself the best chance, don't you? So tricky. He's still got a great shot here at a fantastic result, Bearman, and whatever happens, he's driven really well today. And don't forget his pace at one point was quicker than some cars that should be quicker than him. So Russell's going to have a little look into turn 1 at Bearman, who's just going to cover that nicely. Not going to get through there, George. Verstappen now 10.7 behind Leclerc, 19 laps to go. And he's got a cushion of 15 seconds back to Bearman and Russell. So I don't think, surely, championship mind on. There's some debris on the outside of the last corner is what Leclerc is saying. So we might get some drama here. But surely Red Bull have got to just leave Max out now. Thinking championship. Piastri's 6th. He's not, yes, the gap to Norris will matter, but he's chasing Piastri's lead at the moment. Although Norris will be leading the championship, won't he, at the end of this if it stays like this? So maybe not. But he's got the pace to catch Leclerc. Although Leclerc's just picked up a little bit this lap by a couple of tenths. 9.9. So Max is inside Ferrari's safety car window. But I feel like any safety car now, the top 3 all pit, surely, for a new set of softs. You'd think. Norris has, you need 12 seconds to make a stop under the safety car and rejoin where you were. Norris has 25 seconds to Leclerc. Leclerc only has 9 to Verstappen, but would be all over him on fresher tyres if Verstappen didn't pit. And Verstappen's got 14.6 back to Bearman, so... But no sign of a safety car because there'd need to be... I'd say there'd need to be contact. How we didn't have a safety car earlier on in this race is beyond me. How we still... All right, we lost Alonso, Hulkenberg and Lawson, but they would have been for... Lawson possibly damaged, but I think the others were mechanical, weren't they? But how we didn't end up with a ton of retirements in that first 10 laps, I will never know. And how the stewards picked through that, I don't know either. But 55 of 71... Norris, Leclerc, Verstappen, top 3. Then it's Bearman and Russell. So Bearman just stretching his legs a bit now, pulling away by a couple of cents on that lap to Russell. Piastri 2.3 behind Russell, 7 tenths quicker on that lap. Antonelli 7th, Hamilton 8th, 9th for Ocon, 10th for Hadjar. It's Bortoletto 11th, 8 tenths, by the way, behind Hadjar. And not much between them lap time wise. Tsunoda 12th and quicker on a 21.9. 13th for Sainz, 14th Albon, 15th Stroll, 16th Gasly, 17th Colapinto, Alonso and Hulkenberg, and Lawson all out of the race so far. Yes. I don't know what to say. So I'm like, Don't forget as well, I mean, Norris is making a big step in the championship here. As it stands, he will take the lead. Verstappen closes the gap on Piastri. loses the ground, of course, to Norris. But whatever happens here, don't forget, 2 weeks from now is the Interlagos lottery. I think I like to call it the Sao Paulo Grand Prix, but I call it the Interlagos lottery. And this could all flip on its head again very, very quickly there. As Bortoleto is now battling with Hadjar for that final points-paying position. Watching. See, this is the bit that frustrates me with TV direction. Yes, they're watching Russell closing in on Bearman or trying to catch Bearman, but we've actually got Bortoleto and Hadjar scrapping on track and close to each other. Why are we watching that? It's for a point as well, so... hopefully Oscar gets George and he has to give the place back to Kimi, says Jonathan. Drive-through penalty for Carlos Sainz. That's the second one, so we'll get a drive-through for speeding in the pit lane. Carlos Sainz's day is falling apart now. So, ironically, of course, he's now going to drive through the pit lane for a drive-through with whatever issue he's got with his car, which might be speeding through the pit lane again. Bortoleto is all over the back of Hadjar here for this final point. So Norris has won this. Leclerc, 15 laps to go. Is Verstappen, 9/10 on that lap, so yes, but other laps, it's not quite. Has Verstappen got enough time to catch Leclerc? That's the question. Bearman now pulling away still from George Russell. 1.4 now the gap, so he's doing a great job in P4. George Russell now under a second. Clear of Piastri, so no DRS for Russell ahead either. So Piastri is going to be a problem now for George Russell. Antonelli P7 has dropped off. Hamilton P8, he was looking like a podium, wasn't he, earlier, and then it all fell apart when he got that 10-second penalty. Ocon P9 and Hadjar P10. Ocon should be okay P9. He is quicker than Hadjar at the moment, and Bortoleto Hadjar fighting for the final point, so... Piastri closing in on Russell. I don't know what's 10 points, isn't it? So Norris would lead the championship by a point if Piastri passes Russell. Is that right? 40. Yeah, it will be 14 to 15 to 1 point. Yeah. So if Piastri gets Russell and Bearman, he's still top of the championship. So he needs to clear both of them. 15 to go. It's doable. However, Piastri has spent much of his race tucked up behind a Mercedes and unable to get past. So, yeah. So Sainz is pitting now for his drive-through. He'll be speeding, I'm sure. 22 seconds on the nose there for a trip through the pits for Sainz. Very nice. So 5 laps until Verstappen catches Leclerc at this pace, according to AWS. Surely, with 14 to go, Max is going to the end on these tyres. Surely. Norris is 34 laps in total on the soft tyre in the first stint on heavy fuel, so it's doable. Right then, so, well, I will say... that Russell does get the nice toe, doesn't he, off Bearman down the straight, in without DRS. So that's going to help him in defence. But Piastri closing. I think Piastri, he's got time to get Russell and Bearman. And I kind of want him to. No offence to Bearman, because that would mean that he'd be a point clear of Norris in the championship. Verstappen would close in as well. And that's really going to make Brazil even more spicy. It's my favourite race of the year, Brazil. I can't wait for it. Yeah, there wasn't much in it though, Warden. So Max has only done about 3 laps on his soft tyres, whereas so it's not like Max had put 10 laps on them or anything. So it is a used set, but I think he'd only done 1 run on them. So I still think he should be okay to go to the end. He will be on them longer. You're right. He will be on them longer than Norris was, but they're not as used as some of the softs we've seen out there today. Russell just picking up the pace a little bit, closing in on Bearman, but not by enough to get within DRS. The detection point is just after this little hairpin in the stadium. Piastri, I'm going to say it again, I've said this 104 times today, it feels like. He needs to get this done before Russell gets that DRS. Verstappen now 6.4 behind Leclerc, 8 tenths quicker on that lap. Piastri, I don't know. It's something about the McLaren. I don't know what it is. Just they never seem to want to just go for it. But I guess that's because he doesn't want to throw away any chance of the championship or throw all of his lead away completely, I guess. He's going to do that anyway, but you know what I mean? Like, lose all his points today just by sending it on George Russell. But I sometimes feel like I'm watching, like, it was Norris in Kota, and again, I think Norris in Baku and Piastri today. A couple of moves ago, if Verstappen's in that McLaren, he's down the inside there. If Hamilton's in that McLaren, he's down the inside there. And I just feel like I just need a little bit more. Even Russell, I think, would go for it. So just a bit more. That's easy to say Saturday, though. I don't know. It just feel like there's opportunities I don't always take. But then I'll be calling him an idiot if he goes all locked up into George Russell and crashes out. So he can't win. Oscar can't win. Neither can Lando. Ollie Bearman's doing a cracking job, but he's sort of built the gap now to 1.5. Driver of the day vote closed in 10 laps. I suspect Ollie Bearman might do quite well here in that vote. In fact, he's currently leading at 36%. Verstappen 13. 12% for Norris is harsh. I think he's driven a flawless race today. Managed that run to turn one pretty well as well. So, Piastri goes for it on the inside of George Russell. They do not collide. Oh, they're still side by side though. Russell wants it, but no. Piastri says no thanks, mate. Through he goes. Now, Russell won't get DRS, but it's not 2 detection points. No. So that's a nice bit of DRS now for Piastri down to turn 4. That's a big move. He needs to now get on with it with Bearman here. Sorry, Ollie, mate, but I'm thinking championship, 3 drivers, ludicrously close in Abu Dhabi. That's what I'm thinking. 5th place for Bearman, by the way, will still be an incredible result. So, a bit like the old Mercedes sighted canvas, is it? Do you think? Out front, it's the fastest car and no one can stop it. But if it gets in dirty air, there's no chance. I remember those days where you'd have races where Hamilton and Bottas would just disappear into the distance, and then 2 weeks later at a similar track, they get a bad start or have a bad quali and fall into the pack, and then they've just got no pace at all because they can't get through. Didn't like following in dirty air, did it at all, that Mercedes. That's a good move from Oscar. I thought George was going to sneak back up the inside of turn 2, but he sort of backed out of it. I think Oscar came across a little bit, just said, don't even think about it, George, mate. I mean, that's, yeah, okay. I'm not going to get into that argument about Max Verstappen in Abu Dhabi. I'm not buying into that handsy at all, mate. A race director who we all said for 2 years was shit at his job. That's not favouring Max. That's not giving him an advantage. That's just a race director that we'd all be saying was crap at that moment. So, or not crap at that moment. Red things. We're not getting into it. I can't be asked. And with the greatest of respect, it was 4 years ago. So, you know, we could talk about it, but it really doesn't matter. Unless they bring Michael Massey back for Abu Dhabi and then it happens again, and then we can maybe have a different conversation because there's something going on there then, isn't there? But yeah. Not having to go at you, Hansy, by the way. I don't care. Sorry. I just don't. Max 4.5 from Leclerc says RC, yeah, he's coming for him. If Piastri gets Bearman, he leads the championship by 1 point. If Bearman holds on, Norris leads the championship by 1 point. If my maths are correct, yes, you are bang on, Red Raven. We've been calculating that as best we can, but you are spot on. It's one of the McLarens will lead this championship by 1 point in 10 laps time. However, there's this guy, I don't know if you've heard of him, called Max Verstappen. He's on the brink of P2 here. So, yeah. No. So I was trying to work it out earlier. I was like, is it 1 point? It can't be. I was like, well, 15 minus 4 is 1, so it would be, yeah. That's fine. No, I don't believe in jinxing. Says Sean, who didn't wear his Ferrari shirt yesterday. What's happened to Russell? Oh, Russell giving the position back to Antonelli, I assume. Who is... It was half a second quicker on that lap, actually, to be fair. Bortoletto. Where's Pascal? Bortoleto has passed Hadjar for P10, so a point for Sauber. It's not going to do much to stop Haas's charge today. In fact, as it stands, Haas still go ahead, but only by 2 points this time. So that's a fun battle. Sorry, Karoon was just saying, Leclerc did a really good lap there. And I went, oh, so I looked at the timing screen. He went, oh, yeah, but he was only 4/10 slower. Still hard. It's still getting over half a second. Come on, Karoon. It's not a good lap, is it? Better lap. Oh, that's a lovely move from Bortoleto. Actually, around the outside of turn 1. Oh, that was fun. Great stuff from Bortoleto. He's really earned that second season, hasn't he, as Bortoleto at Sauber, or to be Audi, of course. Oh, there goes Tsunoda on Hadjar for P11. Is he going to get points today? He's past Hadjar. Hadjar's pace is not... Oh, dear no, 25.3. Hadjar struggling out there on those soft tyres. This is an insane stint, Max. Just finish it off, is what Verstappen's told. Half a second he's gained on Leclerc in the middle sector, but he was a 10th down in the first, so that's 4 tenths overall on this lap for Max Verstappen. The gap is going to come down again by 6 tenths of a second overall, so Verstappen still pushing hard here. I mean, P3 from where he was is still pretty solid for Max, but if he could somehow trouble Leclerc with 8 laps to go, goodness me. Right. I don't know what we're looking at now. So really, we are just watching Piastri closing on Bearman, and we're watching Verstappen closing on Leclerc, aren't we? I think Norris is okay. He's got a lot of traffic, though, so that's going to... I don't think it's going to cost him 28 seconds, unless Tsunoda wants to get funny. But yeah, it's not going to cost him too much time, Lando, I shouldn't have thought. Maybe some. The points gap to Max. Let's have a look. So if it stays like this, your standings would be Lando Norris 357. He takes the lead. Oscar Piastri 356. Max Verstappen 321. I am going to get a calculator out for this, so I get it right. He would be 36 off the top with 4 to go, and including the Interlagos lottery. If Piastri passes Bearman, Piastri will lead the championship by a point. At the moment, Norris would lead it by a point. Oh. This, I think back to Zandvoort, Canada, it all looked pretty nailed on for Oscar, didn't it? I wasn't expecting it to get this close towards the end. I thought it would close, but wasn't expecting it to get this close. Interesting as well, the constructors, Ferrari will move into P2 ahead of Mercedes by 1 point. Red Bull would have 346, only 10 off Ferrari in P2. I think they're 10 off Mercedes now, so as you were, really, just a different car you're chasing for P2. Oscar 1.7 behind Bearman. Verstappen 2.7 behind Leclerc. Oh, God. I said this might get excited towards the end. Sighted Canvas is on board with Max. I hope you mean like on his T-cam or anything. Just sat there on the airbox. That's a terrifying... I can hear you screaming, I think, actually, Sighted Canvas. Yeah, that's you screaming. That's not his engine. Ah! Oh, I still think Max has got a shot, but he's going to need a bit of help. But so I still think it is realistically between the two McLarens with 4 to go. But again, that lottery of Interlagos, we still don't know really about Vegas. We've only been there twice. We've only been to Qatar 3 times, so who knows what happened there. And Abu Dhabi, a bit more predictable. Abu Dhabi, I think, not an epic race, is it? Nice track. And apparently it's a really good race event to attend, is Abu Dhabi, but it doesn't always give us the best racing, so... Leclerc 21.9, Verstappen 21.5, so only 4 tenths on that lap. But Verstappen already 2 tenths quicker in the first sector, so Verstappen is flying. Bearman's got Piastri now 1.2 seconds behind. I don't know what's the director going to do here, the TV director? I would like to think he'd be... Oh, you got to think championship. I'd like to think he'd be watching the battle for P2 when it gets to that point, if we get to that point. I don't want to risk it, ST, getting excited about that. 1.9 Leclerc to Verstappen. 1.3 Bearman to Piastri. These are big laps. Remember these laps when that checkered flag falls in Abu Dhabi. I remember this performance from Lando Norris as well. This feels like a massive 5 laps, sorry. Yeah. I'm tense. My legs are jiggling. Clenched fists. It's actually been a very enjoyable race. It's not been dramatic at the start, but it's not been epic. It's not been massively thrilling, but there's been some really enjoyable moments, and strategy intrigue as well is always fun. And now we've got this at the end with Verstappen now 1.5 behind Leclerc. Oh, Verstappen is not far here from DRS. Neither is Oscar Piastri. Bearman, by the way, he's going to win driver of the day. And I think, to be fair, what a drive as well. Very well deserved. How slippery have we seen how slippery the Red Bull is in a straight line, by the way? Let's have a look with that. No DRS, of course, at this stage. So they're on the straight. He's up to... So 330 he got to there. So I can hear is that the crowd cheering? What if he drops to 5th, Mike? He says if Bearman stays in 4th, he jumps to 14th. Does he gain place as well if he goes 5th? He'd drop a couple of places, wouldn't he? Or it would maybe a better result than Lawson. Where was Lawson's best result? So he might drop a few actually, but yeah, no, he's gonna gain. Whatever happens, great drive from Bearman today, but all of a sudden, 4 laps to go, including the one they're on. 3 to go now for the leader. He's got. I mean, Lando's gone. He's won this, and he won this the moment he got back past Leclerc when Leclerc let him through. Verstappen is going to be I tell you, Verstappen is close here. He's within DRS, and they're just about to go through the detection point. And they have... Oh, did he get it? That was close. Did he? I think he may have just been away. That was... He didn't quite get it. That was close. That was close. Oscar Piastri has got it. So he'll come out the final corner now. But I think Bearman might actually be very lucky here. He may have got it off Colapinto and Gasly. He hasn't quite. That's a shame. The 2 Alpines fighting hard for P16, I'm sure. Piastri now right behind Bearman. Here we go. Verstappen just dropping off a little bit. 1.1 now. They've got to let the Alpines have got to let them through, and they have done. Oh. Max needs to be close there. He's 1 second off. I'm keeping an eye on it. He's got the dirty air now, though, has he? That's the trouble. So it's a little bit trickier. But he needs to be late on the brakes here if he can. We've got a yellow flag out there for something. It's Carlos Sainz, who's had a wonderful day. Oh, don't bring out the safety car now. Just let this race go, please. Don't. No, it isn't disabled at all because he's on the straight. Do not safety car this now. Here goes Max Verstappen. He's got to send it. He's going to have a go, I think. Just in case. He is threatening Leclerc. He's going to get one more go at it. Maybe. I don't know where Sainz has stopped. He might be well enough out of the way there. And he's closing his Max. This is the battle for P2. Pressure on Leclerc. Bearman is fending off brilliantly, actually. In fact, Gasly got in Piastri's way. Critical there. Critical. So Bearman might be safe. Oh, they virtual safety card it. Of course they bloody have. Oh, fuck off. For God's sake. Sorry, guys. I didn't see what that Williams is, because that Williams, if that Williams is well out of the way, it could have just been left there safely. We could have just left the double waved yellows there. The safety nerds are going to be going, oh, wow, no, you got to be very careful. You got to be so careful these days. Don't want someone breaking a nail. But where is he? Oh, for God's sake, he's well out of the way. That's ridiculous. Oh, piss off, F1, for God's sake. You want entertainment. They're screaming for entertainment. They're trying to sell it to WWE. And then when you get actual, genuine, proper, raw, authentic racing drama and action, they throw a virtual safety car for a car that is so far out of the way. You would have to actually aim to hit sights in that position if you had a crash. Jesus Christ. Yeah. I think that's bollocks. We might have time, but now there's no DRS. This is a virtual safety car ending. Great. Well, race has been fucked now, hasn't it? So, but there's no DRS. So what's the point? I mean, it just depends whether Verstappen. We go green. We are green. Max is gonna have to send it here, but it's kind of the moment's gone, hasn't it? In a lot of ways. I mean, Verstappen's going to have to try something. Lando Norris around the final corner. Stunning race today. Absolutely perfect pretty much all weekend. Lando Norris, as it stands, top of the championship. Victory for Lando Norris in Mexico. But surely now Verstappen, who's closing on Leclerc, is going to have to try something. He'll get DRS to turn 11 for what it's worth. No, he won't. Not even DRS there. He's going to have to send it if he wants to go. But no, we're going to stay as we were. We've been robbed. Leclerc P2, Verstappen P3. Yeah. Great race from Max, by the way. Great defense or defensive in positioning his car for Leclerc there for P2. Bearman is going to cross the line. Stunning drive from him as well. Absolutely fantastic to take P4. Was on for a podium at one point. Oscar Piastri also a good recovery to P5. Antonelli's going to take 6th. 7th for Russell. 8. Can you tell I've just lost all buzz there for that one. Hamilton P8. Ocon's going to take 9th unless Bortoletto does something crazy and sends it. Yeah, no, Ocon's going to take P9. Bortoletto P10. Tsunoda actually P11 in the end. Then it will eventually be Albon P12. Stroll, Hadjar 13. Stroll 14. No. Stroll 13. Hadjar 14. Oh, they're finished, haven't they? That's why they're reared on the track. As it would be. Yeah, sorry, they're a lap down. So it's Albon, Hadjar, Stroll, Gasly, Colapinto. Most importantly, Lando Norris, top of the championship, 1 point clear of Oscar Piastri. Is that the first time he's been top since be around Miami, Spain time, wouldn't it? So it's been a while. So he's top of the standing. So well done to him. 1 point between them now, 357 to 356. Max Verstappen 321. So like I say, 36. I think that is off the top of the standing. So yeah. Yeah. Listen to Ollie Bearman's radio. He'll be happy. Sainz's position, Kieran, I believe. I mean, it was here, but he was in the runoff area down here. So he was near the gate, and then the virtual safety car was called when they were wheeling in. But that might be where they were wheeling back. But even in that runoff area, you've got to hit Sainz there. You've got to be aiming for Carlos Sainz there. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like that could have been handled under a yellow flag, which would have given us DRS down the start-finish straight, DRS to turn 4, and then probably maybe stop the DRS here for safety. But that wasn't needed to me, and I do care about safety. I don't want drivers getting hurt, of course I don't, or marshals or spectators, but that wasn't. Had Sainz been in the wall here or pulled up down here somewhere where he's not near a runoff or whatever, then yeah, I get it, but he was well out of the way there from what we saw. But maybe we'll get a replay and we might see a replay and go, oh no, that's fair enough. But yeah, not sure on that one. But yeah. The car was definitely moved away, then the VSC was thrown. So I don't know. I mean, double waved yellows used to be enough, but then the virtual safety car was introduced because of reasons we're not going to depress ourselves with today. So I get why they did that, but it did just, I don't, yeah. I feel like I've been robbed there of a really cracking final couple of laps, because you had Verstappen in DRS of Leclerc, Piastri in DRS of Bearman. It was all about to get very spicy, and then it's sort of just... And as well, to do the virtual safety car restart at turn 4 when we've already passed any chance of an overtake, I mean, yeah. I'd rather it just finish under the virtual safety car, to be honest. But yes, yeah. I just to be clear as well, any Lando Norris fans, I'm not being down on his victory. Massive congratulations to him. Pretty much the perfect weekend. He was on it from... Bearing in mind he missed FP1 as well. He was on it from his first lap in FP2 pretty much. He's looked unstoppable all weekend. He was unstoppable today. Absolutely fantastic drive. And he's taken the lead in the championship. It's only a point, but it's still the lead in the championship. And psychologically, that will be huge. It might not be a big margin, but psychologically, it's a big moment in this season. So I'm not down on his result. I'm certainly not down on Leclerc P2, obviously. And I'm certainly not down on Ollie Bearman P4. That was building into something quite special. And as I said a few laps ago, this was turning into sort of quite a critical 5 laps for the championship, potentially. And then that happens. But again, I'm not... Calm down a bit without getting too wound up over it. But I will say, without sounding too... Maybe I'd say something different on the other channel. But just to sort of play devil's advocate here, I'm not the guy who has to explain to the courts why I didn't throw a virtual safety car if something happens there, if somebody gets hurt, so, or worse. So I mean, you know, they're erring on the side of caution, but from what we saw, I think that could have stayed as a yellow flag or double waved yellow, and then just left that sector yellow to the end rather than virtual safety car. Because what's the point in a virtual safety car down at turn 1? I know it's to neutralise the whole race and the whole track, and you've got cars going past that zone all the time, but you know, you could have just yellow flagged that section and that would have been fine. No one's passing in there anyway, so... But, hey. I don't know. We'll see. There might be some replays. If anyone's got an onboard of sites or anything like that they've watched and they can sort of shed some light on what there. But yeah, Joe says that people hate on Norris a lot quicker than Max or Piastri. If Max had this weekend, people would be salivating. This is not a shot at you, Sean, just people. Oh, I know, Joe. I would hope, like I say, you haven't shot at me. I was hoping it wasn't, because I've just talked about how great his weekend was. So, but yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Social media, I mean, Lando has 2 problems. Well, not really 2. There are multiple problems, but the 2 that always stand out for me is, and this is just my view, I think he's quite likeable. Again, I've met him in person. That's not a name drop or anything. I have a few times. He's really lovely, very chatty, very approachable. Some people think he's arrogant. I don't agree. But he's a very lovely guy, but he's also British. So he's shafted whatever happens. So social media are going to hate him. Yeah. British bias. Yes, of course. Hinch just told Lando he's winning the World Drivers' Championship. Who thought? I think he meant leading, didn't he, Fud? But that's maybe that will come back to haunt him at the end of this. I will say, by the way, I like Hinch. He's a good guy, good commentator, and a good interviewer as well. He doesn't seem to be too what's the word I'm looking for? He doesn't lean into hyperbole quite so much. I can't think what I'm trying to think. He doesn't exaggerate things like a Sky broad, and that's not just Sky F1, that's Sky Football. Everything's over the top as well. By the way, that was 100% a penalty on Ahmad yesterday. Quite why that didn't cause a stir that it would have done if it had been a Liverpool player that had gone down, but there you go. I think disappointing ending. Norris just comes across as childish. That's why people have a harder time connected to him, says Hansi. Yeah, I get childish. I think there was some people say he's a bit of a clown. But if he wins the World Championship, he can clown as much as he likes, can't he? I mean, you know, but childish maybe a little. He's certainly, if I was, and again, I'm not having a shot at him here, but if you were to compare him to a Max Verstappen or a Lewis Hamilton at that age or in his early years in F1, he's definitely he's not as mature as they were at that point in their careers, if that makes sense. But I don't think not in my view, he's not childish, but you might see differently, and maybe there's some people might see it as a country bias, some people might think that, or, you know, people really hate Max Verstappen. I can understand why people dislike Max Verstappen, but I'll never understand people who say he's a trash driver. I mean, if you say he's a trash driver, I can't ever take you seriously. You don't have to like him, but Max he's the best one out there, full stop. Now, is anybody better on the grid? I wait for the Alonso fans to turn up now and start shouting, what about Fernando? Yes, Fernando's great. We all love Fernando, really. A damp squib. Yes, cited canvas. That is a very good way to describe that. It's just a shame. But again, I can't. It's okay sat here in Lincoln in my little spare room in my office, whatever you want to call it, talking to you guys about it and how terrible that was for race control. But they might have had they've got information we haven't. There could have been a marshal in the firing line all of a sudden somehow. Or John's already sent me a picture of can you remember when we're going back a long way now. Do you remember when early on Lawson pitted for the front wing? There were double waved yellows at turn one, and then Lawson came out of the pits, and I said, I hope the marshals are out of the way. He sent me a photo, actually, which is from F1 TV, so I can't show you it, but he sent me a photo, a screen grab of Lawson coming round turn one with marshals in front of him. Now, we didn't see that. That's not what we saw with Sainz, so I can't say that is what happened. But if a marshal happened to be in the firing line, they've got to throw the virtual safety car. So I'll defend them there if that happened. But we didn't see that happen. So, yeah. Boom Spoon says, I don't recall Vettel being that mature when he won his first title. Vettel's first title was a surprise. He probably was more surprised than anybody. But no, I think I would say Vettel was... I mean, if Johns is here, he'll tell me no, because they used to call him something like Mr. Stroppy Pants or something. I can't remember what they called him. But I would have said Vettel was more mature at this stage of his career than Norris. But then at this stage of Vettel's career, how many years has Norris been in F1 now? Wasn't Vettel already a multiple world champion at that point? So, yeah. But yeah, subjective statements are just that, subjective. Exactly, Hansi. So that's a nice way to round off that conversation, I guess, actually. Kaori says, fantastic race. I think a really enjoyable race. Yeah, it's frustrating at the end because we didn't get that grandstand finish between Verstappen and Leclerc and Piastri and Bearman. However, whatever had happened in those closing stages, we were still going to get a close championship, and that's where we are now. So, yeah. Crowd booing Lando is complete BS, but Mexico crowd doesn't need much reason to boo. Are they booing Lando? Why? What for? What's Norris done? Maybe not today, but what's he done lately to deserve the boos? Because I've said this a million times, right? I get the boos in 2021 at Silverstone for Verstappen if he'd have actually finished the race. But you get my point. I get the boos in, I don't know, Germany in 1997 for Villeneuve versus Schumacher. If he'd have, I get that in a championship fight like that. I get the boos. But what are the fans booing Lando Norris for, other than he probably just exhaled or something? I fully expected to be booing the hell out of Red Bull this weekend, actually, given the old Checo thing. But I'm guessing it's just, well, yeah, true. Should I read that out? Yeah, go on then. Red Raven says, the crowd and social media exists. People are idiots and idiots allowed. Yeah. Well, no, we're not going to get into politics. We'll leave that alone. There was an example of that this year in this week in the UK, but let's, yeah. The booing is probably the misconceived treatment people think about what's going on at McLaren, says Hansi. Yeah, people think now that McLaren are favouring Lando. Early season, everyone thought they were favouring Lando. Then a load of people saying that they were favouring Piastri, and now they're favouring Lando again, which says to me that probably actually, whilst I hate their pathetic micromanaging of the situation, actually, they're probably just being relatively fair about it. I don't feel like there's a bias towards either driver at McLaren. I just hate their micromanaging crap. You know, it's got to be fair. No, it hasn't. Shut up. Life isn't fair, kids. I hate to tell you that life ain't fair, and F1 certainly isn't. Fastest lap for George Russell. Who was your driver of the day then, chat? Who are you going with? Ollie Bearman got the official one. I suspect we're talking same for... Yeah. Apparently, according to Ted Kravitz, Lando dissed Checo on Twitch. That better be I was going to say, that better be a joke, CPB. Because if that was the reason, I'd be like, oh, grow up. But no, I think you're joking. So let's read your driver of the days then. I'm going to go. So, do you know what? You're all going to go. A lot of you are going to go Bearman. I generally agree, but you know how I like to be the contrarian from time to time. So I will go with Norris because I think he deserves a lot of credit for that drive. But honourable mentions, Verstappen. I think Leclerc towards the end, soaking that pressure. Bearman, absolutely. Piastri coming back to P5. I think Ocon did really well today. Bortoletto's up 6 places. So, yeah, I think lots of honourable mentions out there. But I'll go Norris because I know a lot of people are going to go with Bearman. So I think that's fair. I think it had to be one of them, really. Fudd, I think, was the first one. Says, Ollie, Bearman. Yeah, true, Max. Yeah, sorry. Joe says Bearman or Norris. Nick says Bearman. Bearman for Michael. See you later, Dave. Take care, mate. Thank you for joining me on both channels this weekend. Appreciate your support, mate. 7-stream basis says Bearman. We're doing tyre talk. Disgraceful. Hasu Bearman says CPB. Kieran says Sean. Contrarian. Never. Lando did dominate. He absolutely did. Charles avoiding a crash in turn 1 and still keeping position, says a Yinka. Good point. Apparently it's Argentinian fans or Argentine fans booing. I don't know. I mean, yeah, because Lando Norris, the only reason Colapinto's not in that McLaren is because of Lando Norris. Not the fact he's... Yeah. Warden says Bortoletto. M. Harasi says Bearman and Bortoletto. Josh has gone with Verstappen. I think that's a fair shout as well. Gotta give it to Ollie, says Sighted Canvas. Lizzie says driver of the day Bearman. Norris says driver of the day for yesterday, though. Cracking lap yesterday, wasn't it, Lizzie? Really was. All I am going to say is that everyone who said McLaren should make Piastri clear number 1 are looking pretty stupid right now. As for driver of the day, Norris was flawless today, but Bearman fought for that one. Jonathan said Ollie. Bortoletto for the best overtake of the race as Warden. Cracking move that was. Lando was driver of the day, honestly, keeping P1 in Mexico extremely hard. He managed that. He did manage that, actually, down to turn 1 really, really well, didn't he? Helped a little bit by, I think, Hamilton stopping Leclerc getting a tow from Norris, but, you know, that's racing, isn't it? But still, really good drive down there to fend off. I do like the car being on the podium, by the way. Ollie, driver of the day, says Kiori. Ruby has gone with driver of the day, Lewis. How you doing, Ruby? Hope you well. Mike says Bearman. Bottas and Bearman for Pascal. Stoffel, of course, from Boom Spoon. It's the only correct answer, 100%. Norris could have done a pit stop for Verstappen if it was still a thing. Dominant today, fair choice, says Yuri. Yeah, good point actually. Shame it's not the extra point for Verstappen actually, because Russell would have got that, which would have been nice, wouldn't it? Bert Mylander got a holiday, absolutely. Paradox says Ollie. Esty Pesty says Jonathan. I love that one. See if anybody else said anything different that's genuine. No. Awesome, yeah. I'll do a few more questions then, but then I'll be wrapping up quite quickly tonight because I know it's a Sunday night, and in Europe, I assume your clocks in mainland Europe, I should say. The UK is still in Europe; it can't move. But mainland Europe, I assume your clocks went back with the UK's last night. So it's about 11 p.m. where you are, so it's time to head to bed soon, I imagine, for work and whatnot in the morning. So, yeah, I'll be wrapping up in a few, so I can't stay late because the other half has to get to work in the morning, so and I'll only get moaned at. Oh, well, I've got to go to bed and get some sleep. I've got work in the morning, unlike you lazy bastard. Insight into my life for you all there. Oh, dear. I think Norris off Bearman are clearly the drivers today. A good case can be made for either. Yeah, I think so. They're my top two. I've gone Norris. A lot of you gone Bearman, but I do think Verstappen drove well to get P3, but also he also caused some chaos early on, which was fun, wasn't it? So I thought when Sainz got his drive-through penalty, an infinite loop was going to be started of pit lane speeding pens followed by drive-through penalty each time. Yeah, I did think that, Josh. I thought, he's in now, so that'll be another one, won't it? But I guess serving a penalty, just back off a little bit more, make sure you don't get another one. But I'll just do the championship standings. I've not run through the order because... Well, I mean, I do them for timestamps, but I don't know whether people actually use the timestamps, and I don't really know how many people genuinely watch these back. I think there are a few, but I don't think we're talking more than a handful. So, so Norris top of the standings, 1 point clear of Oscar Piastri now. Norris back to the top for the first time since fairly early in the season. Max Verstappen now 36, so he has closed the gap on the top, of course, by 4 points. So he's still in there, but I think he's going to need some drama in Interlagos, which, if you're going to get drama, it's going to be in between those two lakes. Get that in nice and early before Martin Brundle can say it. George Russell P4, 258 points. Leclerc 210. Hamilton 146. The only movement in the top 7. In fact, the only movement in the top 10 is at the top. Pretty significant movement. Albon 73 points. Hulkenberg 41 points in 9th, and Hadjar stays on 39 in 10th. Sainz 11th and Alonso 12th also stay where they are on 38 and 37. Bearman with his 12 points jumps up to P13 in the standings, and only it's still quite a chunk, isn't it? But still 7 points off a top 10 in the standings, so there you go. Stroll has 32 points, Lawson 30, Ocon 30, that's 14th, 15th and 16th. It's 17th for Tsunoda on 28, 18th for Gasly on 20, Bortoletto 19 points, and Colapinto yet to score. Sorry, Tsunoda on 28 points there, down in 17th place. I get the problems with that second car, so I'm not going to have a go at him for that. But surely there's more to it than that. His teammate's on 321 and technically in the title fight as an outsider, but still in it, and he's on 28. So, anyway, let's not get back into Red Bull conversation because, good Lord. McLaren, 713 points now at the top, with Ferrari moving into second place on 356. 1 point clear of Mercedes, 10 points from Ferrari in second, down to Red Bull in fourth. So they've got a chance if Yuki can start picking up some points again. Williams still right up there on 111 in fifth place. I think they're starting to look pretty good for that now. I can't see Racing Bulls without absolute chaos in his final 4 races, closing the gap. So it looks good for Williams there. But Racing Bulls 72, Aston Martin 69. Nice. Haas 62. They move up to 8th place. 2 points clear of Sauber, who dropped to 9th, and Alpine 10th place. And I mean, why are they bothering? But, you know, there you go. There your championship. Yeah, looking forward to Brazil very much. Hey, Jonty. Jonty says, well. Yeah. I'll ask you, Jonty, thoughts on the late virtual safety car there. I have said, I'll caveat it, I have said that we didn't see everything, so we haven't got all the information, but from where Sainz looked to me, I think that could have been handled under a yellow or double yellow just in that section for the last 2 laps of the race, so we could have actually had some entertainment, especially for a sport that is so desperate to prioritise entertainment over anything else. I I thought they might leave that alone. Let us have some actual organic, genuine racing for once. But maybe you'll disagree and say it had to be virtual safety car. But you might have some different angles I've not seen yet. So that's my feeling on that one. CPB height for Brazil. Yuki did have pace today, though, says Stuart. Yeah, it's just a shame. I mean, he's down one place, but I don't know how he got caught up in those first couple of corners. Maybe that cost him some time there and some positions. But I still think even in that car, he's better than 11th, or should be better than 11th. But again, I don't have all that information at the moment in front of me. So Aston doing the smart thing and not scoring any more points this year. Why change when you automatically win with nice points? Says Fudd. Automatically win with nice, but I might have missed something there, or there's a time. I'm not sure. VSC was needed, but it also needed lifting about a minute earlier. I don't know. You might be right, John. You might have something that I haven't seen from an angle, but from what we see, I think that could have stayed as a yellow flag or double wave yellows to the end for 2 more laps. But as I said earlier, if a marshal wandered off a certain point, maybe there's a line that race control have, a virtual line that says if anyone goes that side, it's got to be a virtual safety car. I don't know if that's happened. I don't know if Sainz was actually in the middle of the track. He didn't look to be, but I think in that position at that corner, I think they could have left it. Different story, of course, if he's in the wall at turn 17 like Bottas a few years ago in qualifying was, or something like that, but I'm not sure that was needed there. But again, I will revisit. Oh, yeah, I did tell people about that one, John. The one that you shared me the photo. I can't put it on stream, unfortunately, because you know what F1 TV are like, and you stole our picture. But yeah, I'll have a look. And see if there are some angles, and we can readdress this. Well, on this channel, it'll be in a couple of weeks' time on the Brazil race watch along. So, yeah, again, there might be some stuff I haven't seen. So. Williams managed to stay out of a constructor's crap behind. Yeah, I think they could be okay, Williams. I think they should be okay. I'd be surprised if Racing Bulls pick up what did I say? Nearly 40 points on Williams in the final 4 races. They'd need quite a... they'd need an Alpine Brazil weekend last year, wouldn't they? Or something like that. And even then, it wouldn't be enough quite. So it's a big ask, but... yeah, was overall a good race. I forgot myself. Yeah, I'll tell you what, we'll do that as our final thing then, because I think there's gonna be a lot to unpack here probably. But yeah. What's your final race score then? A lot of you seem to go sort of 5, 6, 7 earlier in the race, but right at the end there, try not to let that final 2 laps influence it too much with a virtual safety car. But what was that race for you overall out of 10? I'm gonna go. I said about 7 earlier. Maybe in the heat of the moment, I might have gone with a 9 had we had an epic final 2 laps. But I think 7, maybe 7.5 because we had that potential for that drama at the end and it was really close. So, but I think around 7.5, I think is where I'd sit. Ruby's giving it a 2. Is that the race itself, Ruby, or just that Lewis Hamilton really got just a crap race, wasn't it, for him in the end? 10-second penalty just shafted him, didn't it? It was on for a podium. I thought he'd be leading by turn 1, to be fair. But yeah. Ayinka's gone with 7. Stuart says 8. Ruby said 2, as I say there. CFB says 7. Michael says 8. Solid 7 says M. Harati. 6 out of 10 thanks to the VSC. Should have been a 7 or 8, said Nick. Lap 1 plus 4 out of 10, so a 5. Yuri says 7. Solid 7, says John T, even with the BS. Fudd says 7.5. Richie says 7. Kaori's gone 8. Addy Boy's gone 8. Since I didn't watch it, I only listened to Radio LaShawn. A solid 10 out of 10 as always. Thank you, Red Raven. Thank you, Red Raven, mate. Is it DK Ardby? I'm sorry if I butcher names. 9 out of 10. Action all the way. An interesting mix of strategy. Yeah, that's a good point on strategy. There was a mix today. I thought it looked at the start of this race like we're on for another dual 1-stopper. And actually, there's a really nice mix out there of 1 or 2. So that's a good point. And some gambles as well, which I like to see. CPB says 8 without the VSC. And if Max got the overtake, Pascal says 8. 7 for Jonathan. 8 for Sighted Canvas. 7 for Paula. Hey, Paula. Hope you're well. 7 for Josh Aru. Latot's got goes with an 8. Nick says Norris 30 seconds clear and not troubled all race, definitely not an 8. Lewis penalty was unfair, says Yinka, and race director 6 out of 10 improving. I try my best, mate. I try my best. And thank you very much to MD Productions as well for being a member for 20 months. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate your continued support. But I think we're just going to wrap it up there. I don't want to sit and waffle about the virtual safety car. It's happened. If we get to Abu Dhabi and this title is decided by a couple of points, we might come back and be really pissed off at this, but at the minute it's just annoying that we're robbed of what could be a cracking final to a couple of laps. But I think, to be fair, I think this championship is going to be won by a handful of points, whoever takes it in the end. So maybe that's just the way this season's going to go, and it won't matter that much. But we'll see. The FOM race director says BMXAF, so there you go. I assumed you meant the race director, yeah, but I wasn't sure in case you meant the TV director. Oh, the FOM racer, I get you now. Yeah, the TV director. There were some choices today. Again, weren't there on TV? But yeah, weird. But yeah, we'll leave it there for today. So thank you very much, everyone, for your company today. Thank you again for your support yesterday on Formula Sean, our first ever stream over there. Don't forget to subscribe to that channel. Link is pinned in the chat, and of course is in the description as well. There will be video content this week on that channel, and of course we'll be streaming the Brazil Grand Prix sprint qualifying, sprint race and qualifying watch-alongs for Brazil as well over on Formula Sean. Then the race watch-along on the Sunday will be here on the F1 Word. I'll be back on this channel on, well, it'll be Thursday, unless something major happens between now and the end of next week, probably for the Brazil Grand Prix preview in a couple of weeks' time. And then, of course, we'll have the race watch on live as well. So please do drop a like before you go. Make sure you subscribe to both channels. Between the two channels, lots of content to come over the next God knows how many years, hopefully. So appreciate your support today, as always. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean. This has been the F1 Word. And until next time, goodbye.